Prologue the moon shone brightly tonight, the noise of the river flowing could be heard in this airy silence. Two figures stood across the river facing each other. Senju Hashirama stood there with a frown on his tanned face as he stared towards his longtime friend, a brother in all but blood Uchiha Madara. There is no need for this fight, my friend, please come back to Konoha. Please Madara, see the reason, don't be stubborn. Madara stood there with a expressionless face and closed his eyes. When he opened them, instead of black his eyes were red with 3 red tomos in them. There is no going back, Hashirama, I have made my decision. Now come on, do not prolong this any longer, let's dance. Hashirama closed his eyes and gave a sad sigh of acceptance and clasped his hands together, and red markings started appearing on his face with 2 concentric circles on his forehead and dark red lines beneath both his eyes. Very well, old friend, we shall fight, you will not harm Konoha till I breath. With these words he pulled out his sword from his sheath. A grin threatened to split Madara's face when he heard this, and a gunbei appeared in his gloved hands in poof of smoke. Both ex-best friends jumped each other and met mid-air with each other in a clash. As Hashirama was blocking Madara's attack, Madara's eyes changed from regular their tomos to a unique design with a hollow dot in the middle with threalines emerging from it with a black background, and he yelled Amaterasu, illuminating heavens. Black hot flames emerged from his eyes and Hashirama had to jump back to avoid the flames. Seeing his attack failing, Madara ordered the 9 tails to fire a vat-tailed beast ball. The 9 tails complied, and a ball made of dense black and purple chakra was fired towards Hashirama. Hashirama, seeing this, made a hand seal, Mokyuton, wood-locking wall. Trees sprouted around him and formed a wall in front of him. The Bijudama did nothing to harm the wood and exploded. When the smoke cleared, Hashirama stood there with a frown on his face. Do you really want me dead, old friend? Why you are doing this? Please at least tell me this, Madara. Hearing this, Madara stopped for a moment, a sneer etched upon his pale face. You want to know very well, Hashirama, I'll tell you. I do this to achieve peace. Konoha was a failed experiment, and to achieve eternal peace Konoha and Escapade will have to destroyed. Only then a world will be created where wars do not occur, where brothers, sisters, and parents do not die. To achieve eternal peace I must do this. Hashirama grew sadder and angry at this. He just gave a sad sigh and finally looked at Madara with an impassive face. I'll not let you tread upon my dreams, Uchiha. I'll kill anyone who wishes to harm Konoha, whether it be friend, sibling, or even my own child. When Madara heard this, he just scoffed and jumped on the head of 9 tails. A blue ribcage started to form around him, which also covered the 9 tails, and a sword appeared at Kurama's waist. Susanoo, he with the ability to help by all means. Seeing this, Hashirama made a hand sign, Mokyuton, wood golem, and a humanoid figure about the height of 9 tails made out of wood appeared with Hashirama on top of it. The two adversaries stared at each other and finally started to move. The golem tried to punch, but the 9 tails evaded by ducking under it and gave of its own punch, which it blocked, but the 9 tails already had a Bijudama prepared, which it fired at point-blank range. Wooden wall erupted in front of the golem and saved it from the tailed beast ball. Madara atop from Kurama used his favorite jutsu, Katon, Goka Mekyaku, fire style, majestic flame destroyer. The torrent of flames rushed towards Hashirama, who in response fired of his own jutsu, Sutten, Sujinki, water style, water wall, and a wave of enormous amounts of water countered the fire wave and steam formed around the valley. Madara used this flames to his advantage and fired of another jutsu, Katon, Hosenka Mekyaku, fire style, Phoenix Sage flame destroyer. Countless big balls of fires made their way towards the first Hokage, who just used Mokyuton, wood-locking wall, to protect himself. Seeking to end this fight, Hashirama made a hand seal, Mokyuton, wood dragon, and used it to restrain the 9 tails. He again made some hand signs, Mokyuton, Mokyubunshin, and sent them off to face Madara, and he himself made his way towards the 9 tails. He yelled Mokyuton, Hokage style 60-year-old technique, entering the society with bliss, bringing hands and wooden pillars with spikes upon them formed around the 9 tails, which made it impossible to escape the shot aim. Then used his necklace with conjunction of Thistle on his hands to suppress the 9 tails and finally put it to sleep. Madara, seeing that his pet was of no longer any use to him, relinquished his control over it and turned his attention to Hashirama. By now the sage marking on his face had disappeared and he was just running on fumes, and same was the situation of Madara. Now both legends faced each other atop the river, utterly exhausted and chakraless, only their determination allowing them to stand. Both ran at each other with the intent to kill. The Sharingan gave Madara an advantage, which allowed him to stab Hashirama in the heart, but it all proved for naught when he was stabbed from his back through his heart by Hashirama, and the Hashirama he stabbed turned out to be Moku Bunshin. Hashirama stood there with a sad expression on his face as he stared down towards his longtime friend's dead body. He then moved towards Mito, who had just finished sealing the 9 tails in her body. But what he failed to notice was a slight fluctuation of chakra as if a genjutsu. Madara just laid there utterly exhausted and spent. How could I be defeated? Was 9 tails not enough? No worries, I'll just have to attain the Rinnegan now that I have the Senju's DNA. The last thing he saw before losing consciousness was blonde hair and blue eyes looking at them with concern. When Madara opened his eyes, he found himself in some kind of a hideout. He tried to get up, but his frail body did not allow it. Don't get up, you'll mess up the bandages. Turning his head towards the voice, Madara found himself looking towards a beautiful woman and Akonichi by the looks of it. HN, where am I? Oh, you are in my house. I just found you injured by the river 3 days ago. You were in a pretty rough shape when I found you, the woman replied. Madara just looked around and asked, where are my clothes? The woman replied in an apologetic voice. They were damaged and by the looks of it pierced by a sword. Madara just HNED. Who are you? The girl asked. I'm Namikaze Tsubaki, by the way, I'm Uchiha Madara. And so began the rehabilitation process of Uchiha Madara. It took 5 months for Madara to recover, and during this time he found out that Namikaze Tsubaki was quite an annoying woman. She kept pestering Madara and annoyed him to no end, but despite all this Madara found himself enjoying her company. During this time Madara also implanted Hashirama Senju's cells in his body. Despite his plans for peace, he spent his time with Tsubaki and did not leave. After 10 years in 10 years, Madara found his life very different and enjoyable. He fell in love, got married, and was expecting a kid. Life was great, his plans for peace all but forgotten. Nothing could go wrong now, right? But it was not to be, as Madara found it the hard way. The Second Great Shinobi War was going on, and one day when Madara left towards the nearby town to get supplies, today was the day his wife was supposed to give birth. Meanwhile, IWA shinobi in the need of supplies came across the house of Madara, and while they were looking for supplies they came across the very pregnant Namikaze Tsubaki. Deprived of any sexual contact because of the war, the sick bastards attacked her in her vulnerable state, and there was nothing she could do but await Madara's return and pray. But luck apparently was on her side, as help appeared in the form of 3 Konoha shinobi, also known as Densatsu no Sunin. Before she could rejoice in the fact she was pierced by a kunai through her chest, the Sunin were quick to take action. After dispatching the IWA shinobi, they turned towards the woman. Tsunade tried to heal the woman, but it was obvious that she was going to die because of the blood loss. Just save the baby, please. Hearing the woman's request, Tsunade set to work, and after 5 minutes of excruciating pain she gave birth to a healthy blonde baby with blue eyes. Just before she was going to die, she managed to choke out Namikaze Minato, and thus a legend was born who would raise Konoha Gakure no Sato Tenwings. The Sunin, seeing no other choice, took the baby with them to Konoha. When Madara returned later, he found the body of a dozen IWA ninja, and to his horror the defiled, not that he knew, body of his beautiful wife. For a few seconds Madara could do nothing, he felt numb, as if the very life has been sucked out of his body, and then he let a scream of anguish and yelled at the top of his lungs, Shinra Tensei, almighty push, and everything except the body of his wife was blown away. His previous black eyes were now silver with a small black pupil and 4 concentric circles around it. He had finally awakened the Rinnegan, but what use of this entire power? He could not protect his family. Then he realized that he should never had left the path of peace, but nothing is lost. He would create a world where he could live with his brother, his wife, and most of all his son. Project Tsukuyomi will be deployed, and anyone who will get in my way of peace will die. And thus from the pain and suffering of Uchiha Madara, a plan greater than life itself was born. But unknown to Madara, in the very village he co-created with Hashirama Senju, his son opened his eyes. Naruto Uchiha lived a very interesting life. He had a loving mother, a strict father, and 2 great brothers. Yes, life was interesting indeed. At the young age of 4, when children were taught how to read and write, Naruto was already learning how to throw kunai and shuriken. Naruto and Sasuke both did everything together. They were nearly inseparable, and both of them loved Itachi very much. But when it came to the ninja arts, Naruto was genius, a prodigy. Even Itachi was left astonished by the deviousness of his little brother. When both Naruto and Sasuke were 5, Fugaku showed them the famous Katon, Gokakyu no Jutsu, Fire Style, Fireball Jutsu. Naruto just observed it for some time, repeated the hand seals many times, and finally when he executed the jutsu it was near perfection, whereas Sasuke after numerous tries could only blow out a fireball of a very small size. Fugaku and Itachi were amazed at this performance and asked Naruto to perform again, which he did so even better than Itachi at his age. This led to Sasuke resenting Naruto to some degree, which only increased when both of them one night overheard Fugaku and Mikoto telling Itachi about Naruto's real heritage, about him being the son of Yondaime. Sasuke ran away before hearing that Naruto was the son of Yondaime. Naruto's attitude grew much colder after hearing the truth about his heritage, but he never mentioned it to his family because they loved him regardless. Another good thing that came out of this overhearing was that Naruto awoke his Sharingan with 2 tomos in his left eye and none in the right eye. When Naruto turned 6 he was taught another fire jutsu, Katon, Hosenkan no Jutsu, fire style, Phoenix Fire's Age Jutsu, which he perfected like the fireball to such a degree that they only used a single seal for both of them. Naruto also mastered the Akademi 3 in but a week, down to using no hand signs. A friend of Itachi also found Naruto very interesting and himself took part in his training. He taught him Taijutsu and his favorite the Sunshin. Fugaku found out that Naruto had unnaturally large chakra reserves for his age. He and Sasuke were taught Shuriken Jutsu by Itachi himself. Sasuke did not anymore talk to Naruto as he considered him an outsider and a bastard for stealing his parents' and Itachi's affections. Naruto did not let this affect him and he continued to get stronger. Fugaku grew more proud of Naruto as he woke his Sharingan much earlier than any Uchiha, and he already at the age of 7 had the 2 tomo Sharingan. What Naruto did not know that during all this time the Uchiha were planning a coup d'etat to regain their lost honor and position in the village. Itachi and Shisui were acting as double agents for Konoha. When the Yondaime saw that the Uchihas would not agree to any of his proposal, along with elders ordered Itachi and Shisui to massacre the clan. However, Shisui presented an alternative. He had a special power in his eyes which allowed him to enter the mind of the target and change his thoughts without himself knowing. Koda Amatsukami, divine intervention. Minato agreed to this, however Danzua Konoha elder did not, and made this known by attacking Shisui with his Eni Rutumbu and taking his left eye for himself. However, before he could take away his right eye, Shisui evaded the Umbu and escaped to Itachi, who was at that time at the Naka River. Shisui told Itachi everything before entrusting his eye to Itachi and committing suicide, unknowingly giving Itachi the Mangekyou Sharingan. Itachi, knowing that his mission was still underway, went to the Yondaime and told him that Shisui had committed suicide and begged him to allow him to spare Naruto and Sasuke. The fourth agreed. When Itachi arrived at the Naka shrine, he was met by the same masked man who appeared at the Kyuubi attack 7 years ago. The man introduced himself as Uchiha Madara and offered to help Itachi with the massacre. Itachi asked for the reason he was willing to kill his own clan. "They betrayed me, as such they are no longer my clan," was his reply. And so they got down to work and started what would be known as the Uchiha Massacre. Naruto was returning from the library at that time and he was running late. "Oh, I'm so dead. Mom would have cooked the dinner already and she would be so mad." When he entered the compound he was greeted with silence. At night time silence was natural, but it was too much silent, not a single noise. Then the stench of blood entered his nose and he ran to his shoes with a speed no child should possess, and there he came across a sight he would have ingrained in his mid forever because his 3 tomo Sharingan was activated. Itachi's sword was deeply buried in his mother's chest and she was looking at him with tears in her eyes. With a small sad smile and a barely audible goodbye, son Mikoto Uchiha left this world. Naruto never felt so worthless, sousless, and weak as he did now. Then he looked at Itachi with tears in his red eyes and asked one word so pitifully which shattered Itachi's world: "Why?" Itachi had never felt such pain when he looked at his brother, but he could not afford to break down right now. That would come later. He resolved it, answered Naruto in an uninterested tone. "HN to test my limits, but all of them were worthless, not worthy of wielding the name Uchiha." Then he looked at Naruto with a glint in his eye and picked him with his throat and slammed him against Thule. Naruto looked at him with hurt and pain clearly in his eyes, which turned into hatred. "Just so you could test your strength, you bastard. I promise on my pride as an Uchiha I will kill you." Itachi just gave a genuine smile and looked at Naruto. "Perhaps you can prove to be a challenge. Until then, run, little brother, cling to your pathetic life. Hate me, and when you finally have eyes like me, come face me." Tsukuyomi, Moon Reader. The ultimate genjutsu of Mangekyou Sharingan showed Naruto the clan being killed again and again until he lost consciousness. Sasuke chose that time to appear, and after finally processing what happened he wanted to ask Itachi why he did this, but upon looking more closely he found his brother weeping, and thus he resolved himself to get some answers from his brother Itachi, tired after using Tsukuyomi, Moon Reader. The next few days the village mourned for the loss of its greatest clan, hypocrites, and pitted the last remaining 2 loyal Uchihas. The Yondaime Hokage came to them with his family and offered his deepest condolences, but all he received was a look of indifference and a grunt from Uchiha Sasuke and a look of pure loathing and a polite "thank you Hokage-sama." The Hokage also offered them different apartments which Sasuke accepted, but Naruto declined, saying that they would stay in the compound. At night time Naruto had trouble sleeping, so he was strolling the compound when he came upon a strange creature which had a Venus trap around it and has of it wash black while other was black, and it was wearing a black cloak with red clouds on it. His immediate reaction was jumping back and taking out a kunai from his pouch on his thigh and pointing it towards the strange creature. "What are you?" "Calm down Naruto-sama, we're here because your grandfather has expressed his desire to meet you and train you now that your family is no more," the black half said. Hearing this Naruto grew more alarmed and asked, "And who is my grandfather?" "You'll know once you see him." Finally Naruto agreed to meet this grandfather of his and took hold of the creature's hand and closed his eyes. When he opened his eyes he was met with another 3-toed Sharingan. As Sharingan stared into the Sharingan, the person finally let out a laugh, a fully matured Sharingan at the age of 7. "Yes, you are really my grandson. I'm Uchiha Madara, your grandfather Uchiha Naruto." That night changed Naruto and Sasuke in many ways. Naruto determined to kill Itachi at all costs, and Sasuke determined to get answers from Itachi. "You, Uchiha Madara. Ha, don't make me laugh, you are nothing but an old goat." Madara was indeed very old. His once black spiky hairs were now pure white and his skin was wrinkled. He even was leaning on a scythe. Madara was fine with being called old, but an old goat was not to be tolerated, but Naruto did not know him, so he had to be patient, so he just settled for a twitching eyebrow. "It has been a century since my era. What did you expect me to be?" "At my prime." Naruto said nothing and his face remained expressionless. Uchiha Madara died at the Valley of the End at the hands of the Senju. Years of living with the Uchiha naturally made him hate the Senjus. Madara just frowned at hearing that and said only a few words. "History is written by victors, and Hashirama was indeed the victor." After a few moments, when Naruto was convinced that this man was indeed Madara and his grandfather, Madara asked Naruto if he was willing to stay so that he could impart his knowledge to him. Naruto shook his head. "The Hokage will notice, and I don't particularly want to abandon the village right now." Madara just waved his hand and a white Zetsu appeared. Naruto meet white Zetsu. He has the ability to completely duplicate a person down to its very genetic structure. He will take your place while you train with me. Hearing the perfect solution to his problem, Naruto let a rare grin show on his face and instructed Zetsu to not ruin his character and to be nothing but best. His pride as an Uchiha demanded no less. He turned towards and said, "Then what are we waiting for, you old goat? Let's start." And start they did with a rather comical beating of Naruto B. Madara's scythe's blunt end. 7 years later, these past years Naruto learned everything his grandfather could teach him and more. For his taijutsu, Madara did not use weights until he was 10 to not stunt his growth. Nevertheless, taijutsu was Naruto's cup of tea, not to say that he was bad at it. He made up with his speed. In the field of genjutsu, Naruto was exceptionally skilled. He was rather good at using Sharingan, genjutsu, along with double-layered and tri-layered genjutsu. He was better than Madara in this regard. The only reason of his mastery of illusion techniques was that so he could kill Itachi. Ninjutsu was where Naruto truly shone. Upon checking his affinities, Madara found out he had affinities Raiden, Katon and Futon, and his Raiden was much stronger than his others. Perhaps his was at the level of Nidaime's Suton. Over the century, Madara had acquired quite a big library of ninjutsu which Naruto milked for all its worth. He also perfected all his ninjutsu to one-handed seals. In the field of Kenjutsu, Naruto chose to wield a Chokyuto, Sasuke's design, and was also very good at it. Naruto left the gunbei for when he was a little taller, and a scythe, no matter how cool it looked, was not Naruto's style. Madara also implanted the Hashirama's cells in Naruto's body, which gave him the ability to use Mokuton. These cells over time bonded with Naruto perfectly, which resulted in him having a body free of the Senju's face. During this time, Madara told Naruto about his own life and the truth of this world, and then he told Naruto of the Moon's Eye plan to him, which required the bijus to be sealed in the Gedamazo, which could only be controlled by a Rinnegan wielder. Madara then told Naruto how he himself awakened his Rinnegan but transplanted him into an Uzumaki orphan. He also told Naruto how he saved a young Uchiha boy named Obito and set him to work on the Moon's Eye plan, but now he no longer planned to rule the world. What do you want me to do about Obito and the Rinnegan? Kill the fool and you can do whatever you want with the Rinnegan, but what I want you is to take back what belongs to me and become the first Uchiha Hokage of Konoha. Naruto was a bit surprised at Madara's request, but he just shrugged. Who was he to deny his grandfather's wishes? Madara also did not tell Naruto the truth of Uchiha massacre. Today was Naruto's birthday and the day for him to finally leave for the hidden leave. Zetsu had done a good job maintaining his pride. He was the best in his year with Sasuke at the second place. HN that will teach the brat. He stood at the entrance of the cavern with small smile on his face as he saw the old goat sitting on his throne looking older than life itself. He could not even move now. He looked at the gunbei in his hands. It had a purple tint with black outline. Madara had given him his very own gunbei. He felt very happy as he had a part of his grandfather with him. His outfit also had changed. He now wore a long purple-sleeved high-collar shirt with the Uchiha clan symbol at its back, and he wore black shinobi pants which were taped at the ends with black bandages. He wore the traditional shinobi sandals which were black in color. He also had a chokyuto strapped to his back. Looking back one last time, Naruto left for the village to take Zetsu's place. Will you do it tonight, Madara-sama? After receiving a nod, very well, I'll make the preparations. Zetsu understood that Madara no longer wanted to control the world but rather wanted his grandson to live. When Naruto returned to the clan's compound, he found himself looking at Hisoka. It is time, Zetsu. With a nod, Zetsu left. Later that night, a figure crept silently into the room. Naruto was asleep, and finally upon reaching him, the figure leapt at Naruto and started choking him. Naruto's eyes immediately shot open with the tomos spinning widely. He put the man in a genjutsu and took out the kunai from under the pillow and stabbed the assassin at the neck joint. When the figure stopped choking on his blood, Naruto pushed him off himself and finally looked at his to-be assassin's face, only to find himself staring at Madara's face. Pain like he felt when he lost at his mother when she was about to die gripped Naruto, and he could only look in horror to what he had done. He could do nothing, and this time it was his own fault. Unknown to him, his Sharingan changed with a small black pupil in the sea of red with 3 thin lines emerging from it in different directions. The calm and dead face of his grandfather forever etched in his mind. The Sharingan saw it to that. Zetsu emerged from the ground and stayed silent for a few moments, then with a swift movement knocked Naruto out. Clean up the mess, I'll take Naruto-sama to the hideout. Black Zetsu said to White and detached himself from his white half and took Naruto before merging with the ground again, leaving Black Zetsu to clean up the mess. Naruto woke up the next day feeling strange. Naruto-sama, you awake? I killed grandfather. Madara-sama chose to go out that way, and he was dying anyway, so he decided to give you a last gift, the Mangekyou Sharingan. Finally Naruto came into terms with Madara's death, and after 2 more days when his eyes were healed, Zetsu dropped him off to Konoha. Tomorrow was the graduation exam, so he went to sleep. The current minimum age for graduation is 14. The next morning Naruto woke up refreshed. He chose to wear a white long-sleeved, high-collar shirt with the Uchiha symbol on the back with tight black pants taped to the bottom, and finally he wore purple shinobi sandals. Naruto entered the academy and sat on his favorite spot by the window at end. Soon the class began to get filled, and a lot of clan heirs were attending the academy this year. Kiba Inazunka, the Inazunka clan heir, was a brash and loud boy who had his Rinnegan Nakamura with him wherever he went. He was extremely jealous of how Sasuke, Naruto, and even the dead last Memna got all the girls while he was left with nothing. He was an alpha, damn it. Shikamaru Nara, the Nara clan heir, was an uninteresting and forward guy who found watching clouds and sleeping better than ninjutsu. The words troublesome could be heard from him numerous times. Regardless, the Nara was a hidden genius with an IQ of over 200. Hinata Hyuga was the Hyuga clan heir, and for the lack of the better words, she was not fit to be a Konoichi in Naruto's opinion. She was extremely shy and utterly lacked self-confidence. She also had a crush on Memna Namikaze. She could often be seen poking her fingers together and spoke with a stutter. Ino Yamanaka was the heiress to the Yamanaka clan, and the girl was a die-hard fangirl of Naruto. She was either seen in her parents' flower shop or chasing after Naruto and competing with Sakura Haruno. Sakura Haruno was the heiress to the Haruno merchant clan, and Thagirl was a die-hard fan of Sasuke. She had a very large forehead with pink hair. She also had a split personality disorder. Shino Abarame was the heir of the Abarame clan, which specialized in using bugs or kikachus in their assault. The Abarame heir was a true shinobi in Naruto's eyes. He stayed in shadows and spoke only when there is a need, not a single movement wasted. Chuji Akimichi was the heir to the Akimichi clan, which specialized in using their bodies as weapons. Chuji, like any Akimichi, liked to eat and could always be seen with a bag of chips. Sasuke Uchiha was the heir to the great Uchiha clan, which was known for their mastery in Katon and their bloodline Sharingan, the copy wheel eye. Sasuke was second in the class and had quite a fan club at his age. He could be seen brooding off, glaring at Naruto. Memna Namikaze, the heir to the Uzumaki clan, was the son of the fourth Hokage and the Red Death Kushina Uzumaki. He was the dead last of this batch and was extremely arrogant. He was also known as the hero of Konohagaku no Sato. The Jinchuriki of Nine Tails was, for the lack of better terms, dumb. He wore a hideous orange jumpsuit with blue-tinted goggles and was loud and brash. He paraded around Konoha proclaiming how he would be the best Hokage. He also had a no-so-secret crush on Sakura and proceeds to ask her on a date multiple times only to get crushed by her. And lastly, Naruto himself, known as a genius. People compared to him with the likes of Minato, Kakashi, and Itachi. Iruka Umino came and like every day shouted the class to remain quiet, and then he proceeded to give students the written exam, which was a hell lot easier. Naruto finished the test first and then they proceeded to the kunao and shuriken throwing. Naruto easily scored the maximum scores, securing his name as a genius. Then they were led to the taijutsu section, in which Naruto easily defeated Mizuki with a single chop to neck in 2 seconds. Finally, in the ninjutsu section they were asked to perform the Academy 3, which Naruto did rather easily, and then the students were asked to perform any ninjutsu of their choice. Hearing this, Sasuke smirked as his name was called. He did some hand seal and yelled, "Katon, Gokaku no Jutsu, Fire Style, Fireball Jutsu," and blew out a fireball of a moderate size. Memna, when his name was called, made a Kage Bunshin, shadow clone, and held out his arm. After 10 seconds later, a blue spiraling ball made of chakra was in his hands. He, after the ball was completed, rushed at the nearest tree and smashed the ball on it, raised non-spiraling sphere, leaving a deep hole in the tree. When Naruto was finally called upon, he just made a single hand seal and then he blew out the biggest fireball of searing white-hot flames Iruka had ever seen. Naruto just gave a small smirk of seeing Sasuke glare at him. Meanwhile, in the Hokage's office, seeing the fireball, Kakashi just whistled. That was very impressive, a single hand seal too. Asuma also was impressed. That fireball was better than most jounins. Choruses of yes were heard throughout the room. Minato just coughed to get their attention, rather upset on his son's dismissal. Very well, now it is time for the team placement. Now Asuma, you'll have the new Inoshika generation. Kurane, you will lead a tracker team consisting of the Hyuga, Abarame, and Inazunka. Dismissed. Then Minato turned to Kakashi and his wife Kushina, Kakashi, and Kushina-chan, you will lead a 4-man cell consisting of Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno Memna, and Uchiha Naruto. I have to say that you are the best batch of students I have ever taught. Chorus of us ran wild. After silencing the students, Iruka announced the results. The rookie of year is Uchiha Naruto. Girls started cheering while Sasuke just glared at Naruto. Again silencing the students, Iruka announced the teams. All of the girls were glaring at Sakura because she got all the hottest boys in her team. A few moments later, a woman with red eyes and black wavy hair, dressed in a white bodysuit with bandages wrapped around her arms, entered the room and said, "Team 8 with me." Later, a few moments, Amon with a beard and a cigarette in his mouth entered the room. "Team 10 with me." After a lot of waiting and screeching of Sakura, Amon was dragged into the room by a red-haired woman. "I told you not to come late, Kakashi, now you'll suffer." The man in question whined pitifully, "Please Kushina-sama, I'm sorry, it will not happen again, I swear on my Ika. Gold edition." After giving Kushina a puppy dog eye, she finally relented with a glare, and then she suddenly turned to the students and smiled cheerfully. "Team 7 Mitu's on the roof." With this, both man and the woman disappeared in a puff of smoke, with Naruto following them. 5 minutes later, Kushina smiled at her team cheerfully and asked them to introduce themselves. "Why don't you go first so we know how to do it?" said Sakura, while Naruto's eyebrow twitched at the girl's stupidity. "Well, I'll go first. I'm Kushina Uzumaki. I like the color red, cooking and spending time with my family. I dislike bullies, perverts." Here she glared at Kakashi and Kumo. "My hobbies are sealing, training with me, sword in my dreams is to see yours completed." Kakashi went next. "Well, I'm Kakashi Hatake. You are too young, talk no my likes, dislikes, my hobbies and my dreams." He finished with an eye smile. And the entire team bar Naruto sweat dropped. He was too cool for that. Memna went first and exclaimed loudly, "I'm Memna Namikaze. I like Sakura-chan, training and ramen. I dislike the 3 minutes it takes to cook ramen and emos. Here he glared at Naruto and Sasuke. My hobbies are training and learning new jutsus. And my dream is to become the greatest Hokage ever. Then Sakura introduced herself. I'm Sakura Haruno. I like giggling. My hobbies are giggling, and my dream is more giggling. Kakashi's sweat dropped. The girls her age are more interested in love than ninjutsu, he thought. And what do you dislike? Ino pig and Memna baka, she exclaimed rather loudly. Memna let out a pained whine at these words and started crying anime tears while Kushina just flashed him an apologetic smile. I'm Uchiha Sasuke. I like fighting and learning new ninjutsu, and tomatoes. I dislike a certain someone. Here he flashed Naruto a glare who just smirked in return, and fangirls. My hobby is training and my dream is to find some answers to my questions from someone. Both Kushina and Kakashi smiled at this. My name is Uchiha Naruto. I like dancing with strong opponents and learning different jutsus. I dislike the senju and fangirls. My hobby is training and reading. I have no dream. What I have is an ambition, that is to kill a certain someone and become the first Uchiha Hokage. Kakashi looked intrigued at his dream. He has grown in an interesting way. Despite wanting revenge, he wants to be Hokage, while Memna just shouted that he would become Hokage, not Naruto, at which Naruto just scoffed. Very well. Now that you have passed the Genin exams and coming tomorrow you will face the real test. At this, Sakura just screeched aloud, "What?" and started babbling about how she and the others have just taken an exam. That was just an exam to weed out weaker students. Your real test will begin tomorrow. Be at the training ground 7 at 7 am. With these words, Kakashi just sunshined out, followed by Naruto. Sakura turned around to ask Sasuke for a date, but he already had left. She turned around to leave only to find Memna pestering her for a date, which she refused and left. Kushina just shook her head and left with Memna. The next morning Naruto woke up at 8 am. He knows about Kakashi's tardiness, and adorned himself into a grey high-collared full-sleeve shirt with Uchiha symbol on the back. He wore black tights taped up at the bottom and grey shinobi sandals with it. He also strapped his chokyuto at his waist, held by a purple rope belt. When he arrived at the training ground, all of his team was present except Kakashi. When Kushina saw him, "Why are you late, Naruto-kun?" Naruto just shrugged in return and pointed out Kakashi's absence, which silenced Kushina. An hour later Kakashi appeared, and after facing a lot of screeching from Sakura, shouting from Memna and a glare from Kushina, took out 3 bells and tied them to his waist. "You 4 have 2 hours to take these bells from me." "But sensei, there are only 3 bells." "Yes Sakura, it means only 3 of you will pass and 1 will go back to the academy. Now come at me with the intent to kill or you will not succeed." "But sensei, won't you get hurt?" Hearing the stupid response from Sakura, Naruto had to force himself not to sweat drop, while Kakashi just ignored her and signaled them to start. Instantly all genin disappeared while Memna just charged blindly at Kakashi after sprouting many clones, only to find himself in a bent position with Kakashi behind him. He was not given a chance to retaliate as he received a rather painful chakra-powered strike in his ass. Kanahagaku no Sato Hihutsu, Seningarashi, Hidden Leaf's most secret hidden jutsu, 1000 years of pain, which launched him straight to the nearby lake. Nearby Kushina just glared murder at Kakashi, who went looking for Sakura, and a few minutes later a high-pitched scream could be heard throughout the ground. Meanwhile Memna got out from the lake and found himself looking at a bell and ran straight for it without thinking of the possibility of a trap. A few minutes later Memna could be found hung upside down by a tree branch with Kakashi standing in front him with an amused expression on his face. "Tisk, I expected better of you, Memna." Sasuke, seeing his chance, launched 3 kunaus at him, only for Kakashi to disappear in a poof of smoke and a log in his place. Shitaka Warimi, substitution. He turned around just in time and dodged a punch headed for his nose. Sasuke took out a few shurikens and threw them at Kakashi, who just dodged them with ease and went to hit Sasuke and started fighting Sasuke to gauge his strength. After a few seconds, seeing that he had knock-ins at Taijutsu, went straight for ninjutsu. Making some hand seals, he yelled, "Katon, Gokakyu no Jutsu, Fire Style, Fireball Jutsu," and fired of a moderate-sized fireball at Kakashi, only for it to burn a log. Hands burst from ground and pulled Sasuke into the ground. "You are good Sasuke, but I'm better." Then Kakashi went into the clearing in the ground to look for Naruto, only to see sitting on the middle of the 3 posts in the ground in a meditative position. Feeling Kakashi enter the clearing, Naruto opened his eyes, jumped off the post and put his hands in his pockets. "I have figured out this test of yours, Kakashi," said Naruto, only for Kakashi to smile. "Really, then what is it?" "Simple, it's teamwork. However, what I don't understand is how you expect fresh genins to work together, know nothing about each other, but nevertheless let's dance." He figured out my test quite easily and calls fight a dance. With this thought, Kakashi launched himself at Naruto, who blocked it quite easily and countered it with a hard blow to Kakashi's gut. Upon receiving the hit, Kakashi let out a pained grunt. "He hits hard just like Guy," he thought. Naruto then took his stance and started fighting Kakashi again. The fight kept going on just like that, with Naruto having an upper edge. "Enough of taijutsu, let's see how good you are at ninjutsu." Hearing these words, Naruto wasted no time and made a tiger seal and spoke clearly. "Katon, Gokakyu no Jitsu," and a ball of pure white hot flames was launched at Kakashi. Naruto was not surprised when Kakashi emerged from the ground beneath him and tried to punch at Naruto's chin. However, that Naruto just turned into pure lightning, literally shocking Kakashi. How I was not expecting such a move from a genin. Naruto then just appeared out of thin air and tried to take the bell from Kakashi, only for Kakashi to turn into mud, signaling use of a mud clone. Kushinawa was watching from a distance, was herself quite surprised at seeing such moves from a fresh genin. "I guess he really is a genius," she thought to herself. "Very impressive, Naruto, I'm very impressed." "That was ingenious," said Kakashi, appearing behind Naruto and looking him in the eye with a kunai pointed at his neck. "But I'm afraid it is over," only to find the situation reversed, with Naruto holding a kunai at his neck. "Genjutsu, but when the moment you looked in my eyes, I had you under my genjutsu," said Naruto, who had his 3-tome mode Sharingan active. Hearing this, Kakashi chuckled. "You are so much like Itachi," he thought. "Very good, Naruto, however you still have not won." Naruto felt something poking him in his gut and saw Kakashi holding a kunai. A stalemate then. Kakashi jumped back and lifted his headband to reveal a Sharingan. "Not Keet, Naruto," said Kakashi to Naruto, who just smirked in return. "The famous Sharingan no." Kakashi reveals his Sharingan to a mere genin. "I'm honored, but you are not quite a genin, Naruto." Kushina herself was shocked that Kakashi would take out his Sharingan against a genin. Both Kakashi and Naruto started trading blows against each other. Naruto, sensing his sensei gaining an upper hand, created a clone and jumped back. Both him and clone formed a single hand seal. The real Naruto yelled out, "Katon, Ryokan no Jitsu, Fire Style, Fire Dragon Jutsu," and his clone yelled, "Futon de Topa, Wind Style, Great Breakthrough," and a blazing dragon powered by the wind jutsu was shot at Kakashi, who was very impressed at seeing Naruto do a collaboration jutsu. When the fire cleared, in place of Kakashi was a burning log. Kakashi just appeared from underground and tried to drag down Naruto like he did with Sasuke. Seeing no other choice, Naruto quickly pulled out his Chokudo and swiped at Kakashi, who had to dodge or be split in 2 pieces. Just then the bell rang, signifying the end of exams. 20 minutes later, Team 7 stood in the clearing with Memna tied to the middle post and Kakashi and Kushina standing in front of them. "Well, you failed to get the bells," said Kakashi, only to find the bells in Naruto's hands. Kakashi only asked one word when he received a reply, "Genjutsu." "Well, Naruto, you have 3 bells, what will you do with them?" Naruto just tossed them at his 3 comrades and said, "As I told you earlier, you were merely testing our teamwork, so here it is. I am willing to sacrifice for our team. Happy now?" Kakashi just smiled in return and said, "You pass." 6 months later, in Chunin exams, the last 6 months proved quite interesting for Team 7. After 2 months of D-rank missions, Memna put his foot down and demanded Minato to give him a C-rank mission, with both Sasuke and Sakura supporting him. They finally got a C-rank mission, which Kushina did not accompany them to. They had to protect a bridge builder named Tajuna. But the mission turned into an A rank with the intervention of Oni no Kiragakur, Demon of the Hidden Mist, Zabuza Mamaki, an A rank missing ninja of the Hidden Mist, and his accomplice Hakuyuki of the Yuki clan. But nevertheless they completed the mission and killed Zabuza and his accomplice, along with Gato, freeing Nama no Kuni from his tyranny. Tajuna also named his bridge, the Great Naruto Bridge, in the honor of Naruto, who killed Gato and his bandits after killing Haku, as Kakashi was too tired from his fight with Zabuza. Sasuke also awoke his Sharingan in the trip, which caused his already huge ego to turn even more gigantic. Naruto also copied Kakashi's Chidori, 10,000 birds chirping, accidentally, and since Kakashi, who had already decided to teach it to Naruto, helped him with it. Their next C-rank mission was guarding the famous actor Yuki Fujikaze and her director on their journey to the land of snow. Kushina accompanied them in this mission. This mission also turned into an A-rank when Yuki was found out to be the princess of the land of snow Koyuki Kazuhana, and she went into a self-imposed exile when her uncle Dato Kazuhana killed her father and took his place as the ruler of the land. She did not want to go back to her village, but Memna's and Kushina's fiery and passionate speech convinced her to return and accept her position as the rightful ruler. Both Kushina and Naruto faced of Dato's lackeys while Kakashi killed Dato, thus restoring the peace. Naruto also received a rather passionate kiss from Koyuki as a reward, which caused Kakashi to giggle perversely and give Naruto thumbs up, while Memna and Sasuke just glared at him. Over these months, Kakashi focused on Naruto and Sasuke while Kushina focused on her son and Sakura. Team 7 was called for a meeting where they were told of the Chunin exams and given the forms. Sakura, being sensible enough to recognize herself as a burden, apologized and told her team and senseis that she was not ready for the exams. Kakashi understood and told the team not to worry as they could enter as a 3-man cell. Naruto was just walking down the road lost in thoughts when he bumped into someone. Upon looking at the person he bumped into, saw a male wearing a black catsuit and wearing some kind of makeup on his face, with a female who had dirty blonde hair tied in 4 buns while wearing a short dress with fishnet underneath it, and she also had a huge metallic fan at her back. He also noticed their headbands and concluded they were here for Chunin exams. Naruto just continued walking. He was not going to apologize to this cross-dresser. Apparently the cross-dresser wanted him to apologize as he caught Naruto by his shirt. He did not realize what mistake he had just committed as Naruto narrowed his eyes and swatted Themon's hand away before delivering a punch to his midsection and then hitting him with a roundhouse kick that sent him flying back. "That should teach you a lesson, you fool." Temari was about to pull hair war fan as a deep voice spoke. "Temari Kankuro, that is enough, you have embarrassed us enough." Finally the speaker came into sight. He was a red-haired boy with blank eyes with a black tint and a kanji furlove on his forehead. He also had a gourd on his back. The man Kankuro spoke. "Gaara, we were just enough," and Kankuro immediately shut up. Naruto then spoke. "Are the children of Yondaime Kaze Kage, Sabaku no Temari, Sabaku no Kankuro and Sabaku no Gaara the Ichibai Jinchuriki. You must be here for Chunin exams." The Sand siblings bar Gaara let out a gasp at him, knowing Gaara's status as Jinchuriki. Naruto of course knew the names of all Jinchurikis as he had to foil Obito's plans, and getting to the Jinchuriki before him was the best way. Gaara then spoke. "What is your name?" "Uchiha Naruto, and I'll see you at the Chunin exams." With these words Naruto sunshined out while Gaara let a bloodthirsty grin appear on his face. "Mother will have your blood, Uchiha." The next morning Naruto went to the academy to find Sasuke and Memna waiting for him. They proceeded to the room 301 where they found Kakashi standing outside, who proceeded to wish them luck. When they entered the room they were hit by a small killing intent from the contestants. Naruto-kun squealed Hino and tried to jump on his back only to find herself on Memna's back. With a bonk to his head she got off and looked towards Naruto, who was just looking past her to the competitors. Soon all of the rookies were gathered and Kiba was boasting how much strong he had gotten and could easily defeat Naruto and Sasuke now. "You guys should turn it down, you know. Look around, you are earning everyone's attention," a voice called out. The rookies turned around to find a silver-haired man wearing round glasses and a Konoha headband. These genins from Thrain village are really short-tempered, and indeed the Amashinobi were glaring daggers at the rookies. "Who are you?" asked Sasuke. "I'm Kabuto Yakushi." "Is this your first Chunin exam, Kabuto-san?" asked Ino. "No. You see, Chunin exams occur twice every year, so it's my 7th Chunin exam." "Wow, you must really suck," said Kiba while Naruto just narrowed his eyes. "Well, these exams are really hard, you see. During my time in Chunin exams I have managed to gain information on different genins that I'm willing to share with you. Do you have information on individuals?" Upon receiving a nod Sasuke asked info on Uchiha Naruto. Let's see. Uchiha Naruto, the rookie of year 1 of last 2 loyal Uchiha survivors. Teammates are Uchiha Sasuke, Namikaze Memna and Haruno Sakura. Naruto has a well-rounded skill set with being exceptional at Genjutsu and Ninjutsu. He has a fully matured Sharingan and has affinities to Raiden, Katon and Futon. His team has performed 53 D ranks, 5 C ranks and 2 A rank missions. Many genins were amazed at his records while Kiba just shouted, "How did you get 2 A ranks?" But he was blissfully ignored. "Do you have info on Sabaku no Gaara?" Asked Naruto. Let's see. Sabaku no Gaara is the youngest son of the Yondaime Kazekage and his teammates are his elder siblings Sabaku no Tamari and Sabaku no Kankuro. He has sand-based ninjutsu and an absolute defense. His nin and genjutsu are poor. He has performed 15 ranks, 12 B ranks and 8 A ranked missions, and also he has never been injured. The last piece of info caused great worry among the competitors. Soon a loud boom was heard and there stood Ibiki Marino. Alright maggots, let's start with the first part of the exam. The exam is same as in canon with Memna taking Naruto's place and Naruto using the Sharingan for cheating. All of the Chunin hopefuls were standing outside the Forest of Death when Anko explained what each team had to get both Heaven and Earth scrolls and make their way to the tower in the middle of the forest. After she had all of them sign the consent forms, she motioned each team to move to their respective gates. After 10 minutes she yelled start, and with that second exam begun. Team 7 moved towards the tower with a simple plan to take the scroll of any team that they would encounter along the way, except things did not go as they were planned when Akusa Konoichi appeared with her 2 teammates. She signaled her teammates to keep Naruto busy while she fights Sasuke and Memnine. Just for further reassurance she also sent a summoned snake on him. With Naruto. Naruto was extremely annoyed at the moment. It had been a few days since he had his last dance and frankly this one was very disappointing. A quick Amaterasu, illuminating heaven, took care of the snake and Naruto himself made a short work of Thaganins with his Chokyuto. He let out a frustrated sigh and left to fast Konoichi. He arrived just in time to watch the woman bite Sasuke in his neck. With a burst of speed Naruto arrived with his sword drawn and slashed at the Konoichi's neck only for her to turn into mud. When he saw his opponent he said, "Orochimaru, why are you here?" Orochimaru just chuckled and started sinking in the ground. "I have achieved what I came for, Naruto-kun. I'm sorry I could not fight you, but they would be here anytime now." With those words Orochimaru left. They arrived a few moments later in a flash of yellow. While Kushina was dotting upon her son, Naruto told Minato all the details about how Orochimaru separated him from his team, and when he finally arrived he saw Orochimaru biting Sasuke's neck. Minato hurried to Sasuke and saw his worst fears confirmed. Lo and behold, there was the cursed seal. Minato took out a brush and ink and wrote some characters on Sasuke's body and then put his hands on Sasuke's neck and yelled, "Fujin Hoka, evil sealing method." Minato then flashed Team 7 to the tower and told Naruto to go and rest. 5 days later all Genins who had passed the second stage of exams were present in a closed stadium. After the Hokage had given the speech about the true purpose of the exams, a Jounin stepped forward. "If I do not, cough, mind Hokage-sama, cough, can I explain the rest, cough." The Hokage motioned him to continue. Sogeko explained that due to the high numbers of Genins this year there were going to be preliminary rounds and those who won would advance to the final stage. If anyone wants to quit, cough, now is the, cough, time. Only Kabuto Yakushi left, stating that he had little chakra left. First fight Sasuke Uchiha vs Yorowi, winner Sasuke Uchiha. Second fight Ino Yamanaka vs Kintsuke, tie. Third fight Kiba Inazunka vs Memna Namikaze, winner Memna Namikaze. Fourth fight Sabaku no Gaara vs Doso Kainada, winner Sabaku no Gaara. Fifth fight Hyuga Niji vs Hyuga Hinata, winner Hyuga Niji. Sixth fight Tenten vs Tamari, winner Tamari. Seventh fight Shikamaru Nara vs Choji Akimichi, winner Shikamaru. Eighth fight Sabaku no Kankuro vs Shino Abarame, winner Sabaku no Kankuro. Ninth fight Rock Lee vs Uchiha Naruto. This was the fight everybody was waiting for, the prodigy Uchiha versus the genius of hard work. Lee just flashed Naruto a bit toothy smile with fire visible in his eyes. "Let us show our flames of youth, Naruto-san." Naruto said nothing and took his stance. The fight started with pure taijutsu with Naruto having an upper hand, but all had changed when Guy gave Lee the permission to take off his weights, and when even that proved inadequate Lee opened 6 of the 8 celestial gates. Naruto had trouble keeping track of Lee with even his Sharingan activated. He had to end this right now or else he would lose. Lee then used a dangerous move, Omote Range, front lotus, and kicked Naruto high in the air, and jumping himself let loose his bandages. He wrapped them around Naruto and pile-drived both himself and Naruto into the ground. The viewers were looking at the strange spectacle with Naruto sitting in the corner and Lee hitting in the air and then pile-driving himself to the ground. "Sensei, what is happening?" asked Memna. Kakashi just smirked beneath his mask and said, "A double-layered genjutsu." When Lee finally got up, the gates closed and his body heavily bruised looked around only to found Naruto nowhere. Suddenly he felt something sharp poking at his neck and found a kunai held by Naruto who appeared to have sustained no damage. His last word before fainting was how. Seeing Lee lose consciousness, Gekko declared Naruto the winner. Gekko told the winners to draw numbers from the box presented to them by Anko to see who would be facing whom. Match 1, Memna Namikaze vs Niji Hyuga. Match 2, Sasuke Uchiha vs Sabaku no Kankuro. Match 3, Narashikamaru vs Sabaku no Tamari. Match 4, Naruto Uchiha vs Sabaku no Gaara. The next day Sasuke and Naruto were called by Kakashi, who gave them 2 papers and told them to channel chakra into it. When Sasuke did it, his paper burst into flames before splitting in 2. Naruto already knew his affinities, but he was extremely surprised when the paper split in 4 parts, where one was crinkled up to an extreme degree, one caught fire, one turned soggy, and the last one turned to dirt. It appears the Senjus cell have completely bonded with me, thought Naruto. Kakashi was extremely surprised at such results, while Sasuke seethed at the results. Why is he always better than me? Why? Kakashi then cleared his throat and addressed Sasuke. Well, since you have both fire and wind affinities, I have arranged a teacher with same affinities. You will find him in training ground 10. After Sasuke left, Kakashi turned to Naruto with an eye smile. You never cease to amaze me, Naruto. I'll train you myself for the month. We will perfect your Chidori. 10,000 birds chirping, and if you get better at it, I might teach you the Reikari, lightning blade. With these words they both disappeared in Ansunshin. 1 month later, all of the genins and their senseis were in the stadium for the 3rd stage of the exam. Daimyos of various countries were present and many rich people were also there. Many had come to see the prodigy Uchihas, while many had come to see the Yondaime Hokage's son in action. The crowd was lively and stakes were high. In the cage booth sat the Yondaime Hokage and Kaze cage with Jiraiya of the Sun in standing close to Minato. Jiraiya is also here. This will make things difficult but not impossible. With Jiraiya here, it would be impossible for Konoha to stop my main army, and Snake summons Kukyukyuku, were the thoughts of a certain Sunin. Where is Naruto-kun sensei? Asked Ino Yamanaka. He is with Kakashi. Ino, don't worry, he'll be here, said Asuma Sarutobi. From Thekage booth, Minato gave Gemna the signal to start. Welcome ladies and gentlemen to the Chunin exams finals. Without any further ado, let us start. Hyuga Niji and Namikaze Memna, please stay the rest off. You should move to the stands. Fight. 1 winner Namikaze Memna, same as canon except in place of Naruto it's Memna. Uchiha Sasuke and Sabaku no Kankuro, please come down to the stage. I forfeit, said Kankuro, while the crowd booed and Sasuke seethed. He even tried taunting but it did not work. Sabaku no Kankuro forfeits. The winner is Uchiha Sasuke. Fight 3 winner Sabaku no Tamari, same as canon. The crowd was pumped up right now and the cheers were deafening. Uchiha Naruto and Sabaku no Gaara, please come down to the stage. Gaara appeared in a Sunasunshin, Sansunshin. After a few moments when Naruto did not appear, Gemna cleared his throat to announce once more when both Kakashi and Naruto appeared with leaves falling all around them. The crowd cheered even more at seeing the spectacular entrance. We are not lad, are we? Gemna just shook his head. No, just in time. Everyone looked at Naruto. He had a new outfit with a dark blue short-sleeved shirt with Uchiha crest on the back and grey tights which flowed in toth black shinobi sandals. He had black elbow guards and black gloves with his sword strapped on his back. Are both contestants ready? Upon receiving nods, he yelled Hajime. Gaara sent his Sento Naruto, who just dodged and responded with a fireball of his own. Gaara tried to bury Naruto in the waves of sand, but Naruto just made a hand seal. Sutin, Mizurappa, water style, water torrent. A torrent of water was sprayed out of Naruto's, which converted Gaara's sand to mud and made it very heavy. Gaara used more sand and fired it at Naruto at high speeds, which Naruto could not dodge. Gaara, seeing this, just grinned. Sabaku Soso, sand coffin, and the sand crushed Naruto, but alas, it was just a clone. Gaara just turned back in time to see Naruto hold a hand seal and dial, Katon, Carry Udan, fire style, fire dragon missile, and a dragon-shaped fire projectile was launched at Gaara, whose sand was not fast enough to defend him completely, was completely exposed to the fire jutsu and got burned horribly. Gaara's screams could be heard throughout the arena. Tamari and Kankuro could not believe that someone had actually touched Gaara and made Gaara scream from pain. When the smoke cleared, a small sphere of sand could be seen containing Gaara inside it. Not now, you fool, the signal's not given, thought Baki as he saw Gaara getting ready to transform. Naruto just held out his left hand and electricity started flowing around his arm, then with a cry of Chidori, 10,000 birds chirping, stabbed his hand straight through the sphere and running it through Gaara's shoulder, eliciting another painful scream from him and finally drawing first blood. "My blood," screamed Gaara. Seeing the situation getting out of hand, Orochimaru signaled for the invasion to start. Feathers started dropping down from the sky as the civilians were put to sleep and the cage booth exploded, and a few moments later a purple barrier sprung around the place containing Orochimaru with Minato and Jiraiya. Baki ordered the Sand siblings to take Gaara to the main army so he could transform. Before he could pursue them, Naruto was surrounded by 10 sound shinobi. "You will come with us, Uchiha Naruto. I won't let them harm Konoha," Naruto thought, and his eyes turned into MS. An ethereal black ribcage surrounded him, with 2 arms materializing at its sides and final lithe head formed. It was a hooded face with only mouth of the structure visible. It also had a silver bow and arrows strapped across its back. Susanoo, he with ability to help by all means, and then 2 silver swords formed in its hands. With a single swipe, Naruto decimated the shinobi in front him. Dispersing the Susanoo, Naruto turned to follow the Sand siblings only to find Baki in his way. Just as he was about to lash out against the ninja, Kakashi appeared and gave him an A-rank mission to defeat Gaara. Naruto followed the trail left by the Sand siblings, which led him to army of 200 sound shinobi. Naruto just calmed himself. He was not going to die here, he had a dream to fulfill. He just looked at the shinobi in front of him and took out his Chokyuto and channeled lightning chakra to it. He could see Gaara injured and in no condition to fight. Naruto then ran at the shinobi who also charged at him. Naruto was like a juggernaut, kept slicing enemies left and right, and the sound shinobi fell at his feet. Then he was blown back by a strong gust of wind. He flipped midair and landed gracefully on the ground. He saw Mary holding her fan in her hand with a determined expression on his face. "Do not underestimate me." Naruto remained expressionless and after a while spoke in a whispered voice, "You want to destroy my home. You wish to tread upon the dreams of my ancestor. What do you think this village is? This is Konohagaku no Sato." He then made a hand seal and yelled, "Katon, Goka Mekyaku, fire-style majestic flame destroyer." A torrent of scorching white-hot flames spread around like a wave, made its way towards the remaining shinobi, and most of them died in the flames. Only roughly 50 of them remained. Seeing such unfavorable conditions, Mary and Kankuro fled the battlefield. Naruto made 4 clones and all of them did a hand seal and launched fire dragons in the sky. Soon black clouds started gathering and rain started falling. The remaining shinobi were getting a bad vibe from Naruto's action and their fears were confirmed when lightning started gathering above them. Naruto let a Chidori appeared in his right hand, which he raised towards the lightning, and beam shot out of his hand and the lightning in the clouds took the shape of a dragon. Let it be known Uchiha clan tamed the lightning. Now disappear with a thunderclap. With these words, Naruto directed the dragon at the remaining shinobi. In a second late, only a crater remained. Everyone had stopped fighting when they saw the huge lightning dragon. They were amazed that a young person like Naruto could attain such a feat. Naruto finally caught on to the Sand siblings, and after dispatching Mary and Kankuro, he started walking towards Gaara, who was lying in the ground. "Stay away from me, you cannot erase me existence." Hearing these words, Naruto stopped and looked at Gaara. "I won't kill you." Gaara's eyes grew wide at this. "Why? How are you so strong?" "I won't kill you because I understand the pain of loneliness, and I'm strong because I fight to protect what is dear to me. You have your siblings, fight for them and you will grow strong." Gaara just closed his eyes and let a true smile appear on his face and said, "Thank you, my friend." Anytime Gaara. Both Mary and Kankuro were amazed to hear Gaara call someone his friend. Naruto signaled them both they take Gaara away and back to their village. After a few moments, Naruto was dragging himself through Konoha's forests when his body could not handle it any. He fell forward only to land on Kakashi's back. "You did it, Naruto. You never cease to amaze me." Naruto woke up 2 weeks later to see a blonde woman tending to him. He tried to sit up when she stopped him. He finally got a good look at the woman. She appeared to be in her late 20s with a purple diamond at the center of her forehead and crystal blue eyes. She wore a white short kimono which showed her big assets wonderfully, and a green haori over it with the kanji for gamble at the back of it. He recognized her from the bingo book. She was Tsunade Senju. "What happened to me?" She looked amused at his question and explained that he had a rather nasty case of chakra exhaustion and the doctors had kept him sedated so he could recover. Then he finally asked her about their salts of invasion, upon which she got a sober look but told him anyway. Orochimaru had summoned Hashirama and Tobirama Senju via Edo Tensei, Impure World Reincarnation, and Minato after trying everything saw only one way and used Shiki Fujin to seal the souls of the first, second, and Orochimaru, but he failed to seal Orochimaru completely, only sealing his arms when he stabbed Minato with the Kusanagi through his heart, and Shitsunade Senju was chosen as the Godame Hokage. Then she threw him a bingo book and told him to open page #73. Lo and behold, there was his picture and biography name. Uchiha Naruto, Raijin no Konoha, rank. Chunin threat. S rank description. Uchiha Naruto has black hair, Sasuke style from Boruto the movie, and black eyes. He has a fully matured Sharingan and has 3 affinities: Raiden, Katon and Futon. He also is good at Kenjutsu and his Genjutsu is exceptional. He is also the one of last 2 Uchiha survivors. He massacred 200 sound shinobi and also defeated the Ichibai Jinchuriki. Lineage. Uchiha Fugaku, father, deceased, Uchiha Mikoto, mother, deceased, Uchiha Itachi, brother, alive, and Sasuke Uchiha, brother, alive. Bounty, 60 million Ryos alive, by Otagakuer, 50 million Ryos dead or alive by Uegakuer. Naruto let a rare grin come to his face when he saw his bingo book entry. It was so cool that he wanted to squeal in delight, but he controlled himself so that he would not let the Senju see it. Time for Kirin would come for later. The Chunin exams proved to be quite a good experience for Naruto. Not only his bastard of a father was dead and sealed in the stomach of Shinigami, he was promoted to Chunin and got branded as an S-rank ninja. Soon Nii-san, soon your time will come, thought Naruto gleefully. Tsunade coughed to gain Naruto's attention, and when she saw she had his full attention she continued, during this time your clansman Uchiha Sasuke defecteth village and has joined Orochimaru and he has been branded a missing ninja. Hearing these words the grin slipped of Naruto's face and it turned impassive. Anything else, Hokage-sama? Tsunade raised an eyebrow on Naruto's casual dismissal of the matter but continued on nonetheless. Your team has been disbanded for now. Memna Namikaze has been taken by Jiraiya as his apprentice and Kushina also wanted to train her son. They will leave tomorrow for 4 years and I have taken Sakura as my apprentice. Kakashi has shown an interest in taking you to 4-year training trip too if you want. Hokage-sama, as I am the last of my clan, it gives me certain favors that I'd like to use. His pride as an Uchiha was seriously hurt after calling the Senju his leader all this time, so he decided that he won't call her this again. And what do you want? Asked Tsunade with a raised eyebrow. I want to extend the training trip to 4.5 years, in which I'll spend only 1 year with Kakashi and the rest training be myself. There are certain clan secrets I don't want him to know. Tsunade was surprised at the unusual request, but Naruto was now a clan heir and soon to be the head, so his request was indeed valid. Very well. After you are healed, come to my office. I will have documents prepared. Naruto just nodded and went back to sleep. When he opened his eyes he found himself to be looking at Kakashi's famous eye smile. I heard about your agreement with Tsunade-sama. Are you sure about being alone for 3 years? Yes, and say I need to master my eyes and train in the clan secret techniques. Very well, meet me tomorrow at the gate. Jane. Naruto called out for Black Zetsu and he appeared. What did ya want me for, Naruto-sama? Naruto said, I'll come to the hideout in a year. Tell me, did Madara had his own eyes, the one he had before a transplanted eyes-onus? Yes, you need them. Yes, I will need them to gain the eternal Mangekyou Sharingan, and taking Nagato's eyes will complicate things. I want to have my own Rinnegan. The next day Naruto and Memna stood at the gates with their respective senseis and the rookies were there to see them off. Memna was looking determined after his father's death and vowed to change himself and take the business of being a shinobi more seriously. Naruto just stood there with a bored expression on his face, with Ino fussing about how she would not see Naruto-kun for so much time. Sakura just gave Naruto an apologetic smile and a wave of hand, to which Naruto just gave a lazy nod. Very well, it's time we left, said Jiraiya seriously as he still felt the pain of losing his student. Kushina was just giving a sad smile and looking at Naruto with a very strange expression. Minato had realized Naruto was his son and told Kushina in a letter in case something happened to him. She was not mad at Naruto, he was just unfortunate. Kakashi just slung an arm around Naruto and said, Ma, come on Naruto, the daylight's burning, and with these words Naruto Uchiha left Konoha only to be seen after 4.5 years later. Meanwhile Sasuke stood in front of Orochimaru. Soon brother, I'll get my answers. In a cave on a giant statue which had 9 eyes and all of them were closed, and with its hand outstretched and its mouth in a scream sitting in Thelatus position, 10 figures stood. The leader had silver-purple eyes with a small black pupil and ripples around it. We will begin hunting Thbijas in 4 years. Until then, keep your skills sharp and continue to perform missions. With these words, all of them left except the leader and his female accomplice. A few seconds later, a swirl formed in the cave and out walked Uchiha Obito from it. "So it's finally starting," said Obito. "Yes, Madara. There have been too many delays," said the rippled-eye man named Nagato or Pained at the mountain graveyard. "It's time I leave Zetsu," said Naruto. He had changed considerably in the last 4 years. Now 18 years old, Naruto stood at an impressive height of 6 feet. His hair were straight and silky and covered his left eye completely. He wore a gray full-sleeved high-collar shirt with 6 silver tomos on it and with the Uchiha crest on the back in a gray light vest over it, and a black tights which were tapped of at Bato Mand, a black cape over it with black fingerless gloves that had an Uchiha crest at the back. He wore black boots with his chokudo strapped on his back under his cape. Much had occurred in the training trip he had gone on. His first year was spent with Kakashi honing his skills in mastering Raiden. Kakashi also taught him Thrakari and Naruto and perfected it to know hand seals and also created many derivatives of Chidori. He also worked with Kakashi on increasing his speed and improving his Kenjutsu. After leaving Kakashi, Naruto came to the hideout and had Zetsu implant Madara's eyes in him, which resulted him in gaining the eternal Mangekyou Sharingan. The pattern is just the same as before, only 3 more lines emerging from the small black pupil in the center. He soon found out that EMS not only erased the blinding factor of MS, but also increased the power of the eye techniques. Naruto also gained another power from the EMS, which was Onten Blaze Release, which allowed him to control the black flames of Amaterasu, illuminating heavens, to an extreme degree where he could even use them in his jutsus. He also mastered the perfect Susanoo. He only had bandits and white Zetsu clones to perform Tsukuyomi, Moon Reader, on Buthe was satisfied with it. He also had mastered Mokuton to an acceptable level. His last year was spent upon mastering Watinu and practicing hand seals for the Rinnegan, Samsara Eye, so that when he awakened it he would be prepared. He smirked, remembering how he used the Kage Bunsen no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Jutsu, for his training. And at least that dumb idiot washed good for something, he thought, remembering Memna. Naruto was extremely satisfied with his strength. He had done nothing but train in the last few years. While he was training, Zetsu had brought him news that the Akatsuki, Red Dawn, had made its move and captured Gaara. The teams from Konoha, including Team 7, Team Guy and Lady Cho of the Sand, left to rescue the Kaze cage, but the Shikaka was already extracted. But the rescue team managed to kill Akasuna no Sasori of the Red Sands, but Deidara the Mad Bomber escaped and Cho used a Kinjutsu to revive Gaara at the cost of her own life. The most interesting news was the use of Mangekyou Sharingan by Kakashi, when he used Kamui, Authority of the Gods, to save himself and Memna from the blast created by the Akatsuki ninja. Sakura had managed to get Sasuke's location out of Sasori before he died, and now Tsunade was arranging a mission to bring him back, thus she had sent Naruto her summons to come back and partake in this mission. And now he was off to Konoha. The Hokage's office, the Team 7 bar Kakashi and an Umbu by the name of Yamato were assembled in front Tsunade and were waiting for her to speak. "You will have been assembled on this mission to rescue one Uchiha Sasuke and bring him to justice. You will be assisted by Yamato on this mission. According to intel, Sasori's spy would meet him at the Konobi Bridge." Just then Shizune entered the room with a blush on her face and stuttered, "Tsunade-sama, Uchiha-san is here. Should I send Hyman?" Tsunade, clearly amused by her apprentice's actions, just nodded. Then Naruto entered the room and Tsunade's breath hitched. She now knew why Shizune was clearly flustered. She had to fight off the blush of her face, and by the looks of it Kushina and Sakura were trying to do the same. Naruto was clearly amused by their reactions, but he did not let it show on his face. He just offered polite nods to everyone. "You called," he said. Tsunade coughed and briefed him on his mission, to which Naruto just scoffed and said, "Why not just kill him and be done with it?" This sentence got him varied reactions, with Team 7 yelling outrageous and Yamato looking at him strangely. "How can you say that? He is a comrade," yelled Memna, who had changed his jumpsuit from pure orange to orange and black. Naruto just shot him a side glance and again scoffed. "I'll not let my personal feeling interfere with the safety of the village. Sasuke is a traitor who joined Orochimaru, who is, if you don't remember, the killer of your father, and I'll treat him as such." He then took a deep breath and continued, "I'll not let anyone harm the village, whether they be friend, sibling, or even my own child. Those who wish to tread upon the dreams of my ancestor will die at the end of my blade." Tsunade's breath hitched upon hearing those words. She saw both Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama in Naruto, and he was the perfect blend of their personalities. Yes, you will become a fine Hokage brat. Yamato also had a newfound respect for the young Uchiha. But Memna continued on, how can you say this? Didn't Sensei say that those who abandon their comrades are war's Ethan trash? He is a traitor to the village, not a comrade. He abandoned us, and I'll gladly do the same if it means the safety of the leaf. And with this mindset of yours you can never be a Hokage. Being a Hokage is not sunshine and unicorns, you fool, replied Naruto, who was clearly annoyed at Memna's insolence. Tsunade saw nothing wrong with his words. That's enough, though I agree with your words, but the council has decided that Sasuke has to be brought back, so Sharingan is not lost. Thus you cannot kill him. Sakura looked near to tears as she heard her sensei say such things. Now that you have received your mission, move out. Near the bridge. Now listen up, I'll go the bridge and you all will wait here with Kushina senpai. Saying this, Yamato transformed into a perfect copy of Sasori, and after trying a few times changed his voice to that of Sasori. Naruto just stood there amused at the pitiful efforts to conceal their presence from Orochimaru. The man was a snake through and through, he wouldn't let himself be surprised. After a few moments, Kabuto appeared on the bridge and tried to assassinate Sasori, which forced him to turn back to Yamato. Orochimaru appeared, and expressed surprise at Sasori being dead and proceeded to brag about how he knew that they were here. Hiding was futile, so Naruto just appeared on the bridge with Team 7 on the Ito. Naruto said nothing and kept staring at Orochimaru. The silence was broken by Memna, who started shouting at Orochimaru to tell him where Sasuke was. When he got only a creepy grin from Orochimaru in return, anger consumed him and his pupil turned red with a slit in it. His whisker marks darkened and he grew canines and long fingernails. Seeing Orochimaru standing with another grin, Memna let himself loose completely and lost control, turning into a miniature Kyuubi with 4 tails, furry skin, and blank eyes. Before Kushina could use her chakra chains or Yamato, his Mokuton, Naruto appeared in front of Memna with his EMS activated and looked in Memna's eyes. Memna's mindscape. Naruto appeared in what looked like a sewer with Memna standing in front him. How are you here? Naruto just ignored him and turned to the huge gates, which had a kanji for seal in its center, and looked at Kyuubi, growling at him. You reek of the man who controlled me once, but your chakra is far more malicious than him. You remind me of Indra. Come here so I can rip you to pieces. He just looked at the beast with his EMS activated and said, so this is what the great Kyuubi has been reduced to, a mere sarcastic being. And you disgust me. Now sleep. With these words, Kyuubi's eyes turned into 3 Tomo Sharingan and then it went to sleep. Outside, the chakra of the Kyuubi receded and Memna slid down to the ground unconscious but fine otherwise. He then turned towards Orochimaru with his regular Sharingan and said in a whispery voice, I'll say it only once, Orochimaru, where is the traitor? Even for a veteran shinobi like Orochimaru, that glare is unrevering, but he was not the snake son in for nothing. You grew up very nicely, Naruto-kun. Subduing the Kyuubi is a feat not many can claim of. Not even Sasuke can do it, but I'm afraid you will have to beat out Sasuke's location out of me. So be it. And with these words, Naruto strode forwards, only to stopped by Kushina and Yamato. Stay out of this, Chunin, you are not strong enough to face him, said Yamato, and then spoke Kushina. You will have to sit the zone out, Naruto-kun. Orochimaru's way out of your league. Naruto just looked at them with an expression on his face that said, are you dumb? For your information, I was an S-rank ninja before I left the village, and I have only grown stronger in these 4 years. Now do get out of my way, I'll have my dance. Orochimaru was intrigued by Naruto's words. He was unlike any other brat he'd seen. If he was honest with himself, he saw a bit of himself in Naruto. Why don't you join me, Naruto-kun? After all, we are both geniuses who lost so much only because of Konoha. Naruto stopped for a bit but then said, that may be true, Orochimaru, but I will walk on my own path and none shall control me. Remember that. Orochimaru respected that and got ready for a fight. He wouldn't underestimate Naruto as he was a fellow S-rank ninja. Just to show that he was serious, Orochimaru let loose his chakra, which took a purplish hue around him in the shape that vaguely resembled a snake, and released a large amount of killing intent. Everyone bar Naruto was amazed and were finding it difficult to breathe. In case of Sakura, she was ready to faint. Kabuto just stepped back as his master got ready to fight. Naruto just scoffed at the pathetic ki. It was nothing in front of Madara's ki and let loose his own chakra, which had a black tint to it. Andre leased his own ki. This time Sakura actually fainted and even Orochimaru took a step back. Naruto let a maddening grin come to his face and said 2 words before disappearing. Let dance. Orochimaru was thrown back by and where he stood. Now stood Naruto with his leg raised. Naruto then formed a hand seal and yelled, "Katon, Goka Mekyaku, fire style, majestic flame destroyer." A sea of flames rushed towards an airbound Orochimaru who had yet to recover from Naruto's kick and hit him head on. Orochimaru's girlish screams resonated all around the ground. Whenth died there lay Orochimaru with 4-degree burns. Then something impossible happened. Orochimaru's mouth opened to an impossible proportions and another Orochimaru crawled out of it. "You truly have turned yourself into a snake, Orochimaru." Orochimaru just grinned and made his own hand seals, Mandara no Jin, 10,000 snake formation, and a sea of snakes rushed from Orochimaru's mouth and opened their mouths and replicas of Kusanagi emerged. The sea of snakes rushed towards Naruto who just formed another hand seal, Katon, Gokakyu no Jitsu, Phi style, Fireball Jutsu, and a ball of fire rushed towards the snake and burned them all. Orochimaru's neck emerged from the smoke with Kusanagi in his mouth towards Naruto who at the 11th hour pulled out his own Chokyuto and blocked it, and then coated his word with wind chakra and chopped of Orochimaru's neck only for it to turn it into mud. Orochimaru was extremely surprised that a sword managed to block Kusanagi without shattering. Then both opponents rushed at each other with their swords in their hands and engaged each other in battle. The Team 7, Yamato and Kabuto, were amazed at Naruto's efficiency. Naruto's changed into EMS as he spoke Amaterasu, illuminating heaven, and Orochimaru was set on the black flames of Amaterasu. If his screams were any indicator, Orochimaru was seriously hurt. Orochimaru had to shed his skin again and was now on his knees panting heavily. Kabuto got worried at seeing this. His master was strong but even he could not keep spamming such high-level jutsus so many times. Naruto, seeing Orochimaru again, formed a hand seal and yelled, "Katon, great fire annihilation," and a wave of flames rushed towards Orochimaru who formed his own hand seals and slammed his hands in ground. Kukiyos, Senjurashiman, and 3 demonic gates were summoned in front Orochimaru and blocked the flames. The flames were strong enough to destroy the gates but it gave Orochimaru and Kabuto enough time to escape. Sensing them escape, Naruto took off to their direction with Team 7 on his tail. Orochimaru's hideout. Team 7 arrived at what looked to be a simple hideout built with Doton, Earth Release. Memna and Sakura both took to running in order to find Sasuke. Kushina and Yamato also ran behind them in order to make sure they remain fine. Idiots all of them, so foolish to believe Orochimaru doesn't have any traps here. Naruto started calmly and whistled a merry tune that Mikoto often used to sing to him and walked towards where all the noise was coming from. When he arrived towards a clearing where all the Team 7 stood and in front of them stood Sasuke with Orochimaru and Kabuto. Memna and Sakura were near tears and trying to convince themselves that the person standing in front them was indeed Sasuke. Naruto just shot a bird look towards all of them and then he finally looked towards Sasuke with hatred in his eyes, which Sasuke also returned. From today the Uchiha clan would have only one member left. He'll destroy Iya and Itaka so finally the Uchiha name can be rid of traitors. Saying this, Naruto shot towards Sasuke and pummeled him into the ground. Kushina and Yamato engaged Orochimaru and Kabuto took care of Sakura and Memna. The fight between Sasuke and Naruto was not a fight at all. It was a one-sided fight. Sasuke was nowhere near Naruto's level and no matter what he did his attacks were always countered by Naruto. Finally Sasuke felt himself out of chakra and he knew if no would save him his death was imminent. Fortunately for Sasuke, help came in the form of a Tonto which was buried deep in Naruto's gut and its handle was in the hand of none other than Uchiha Itachi. "So a traitor comes to save a traitor," spoke Naruto with blood oozing from his mouth. The onlookers were extremely surprised by the surprise appearance of the notorious strength criminal Uchiha Itachi. "No matter, I shall simply kill you both." Saying this, Naruto gave of a scream and both Sasuke and Itachi were pushed back by the burst of chakra. A black ribcage surrounded Naruto and a hand formed out of it which grabbed Itachi and slammed him into the ground. Naruto deactivated his Susanoo and turned towards Itachi with murder in his eyes and a Chidori appeared in his hand. "I did what you said Nii-san. I hate you and now when I finally have this power and the same eyes thought you do, I'll kill you and Sasuke and finally rid the Uchiha name be associated by any traitor." Itachi was then stabbed by Chidori through his heart only for him to turn into a murder of black crows. "You have gotten stronger Ototo." Naruto just closed his eyes and thought, his bloody crow techniques. "Talking will only stall the inevitable Nii-san, you die regardless. I'm afraid you have failed at that Ototo." When Naruto heard this he turned around and saw that Itachi had left and Orochimaru was making off with Sasuke and Kabuto and Yamato stabbed with a sword through his stomach with Sakura healing him. whereas Kushina was dotting upon Memna. Naruto choked back a sob at the scene, remembering how his own mother used to do that. There is nothing left for us here. The traitor Shave left. Let's go. Hokage's office. Yamato complained about your insubordination. When he told you not to fight Orochimaru, you disobeyed. I do not regret my actions. HN the Fool and Kushina were barely able to match Orochimaru this time, whereas I defeated him without any injury. That may be true, but you still have to understand that insubordination will not be tolerated. You are confined to the village for 1 month, and since the council deems you too strong to be a mere chunin, you are hereby promoted to a jounin. Naruto just scoffed and turned around to leave, only to be stopped by Kushina. Naruto-kun, can you please come to my house this evening? We have to talk. Naruto gave the rest of nods and disappeared into thin air. Namikaze Uzumaki compound. Naruto arrived to Kushina's house that evening, and when he entered he found Kushina, Jiraiya, Tsunade, Kakashi, and Memna sitting in the living room. Please sit, Naruto-kun, we have much to talk about, said Kushina. Naruto just HNED and sat in front of them all and then motioned them to continue. You should know this, Kaki, that you were adopted by the Uchiha family when you were born. They were no our real parents, said Jiraiya. Naruto was just amused at their antics and looked at them with an impassive face. I know that, so? Jiraiya appeared to be relieved at this and continued, well, this makes things easier. I am going to tell you about your real parents. Your mother was Uchiha Sarah and your father was none other than the Yondaime Hokage Minato Namikaze brat, said Jiraiya. Naruto made a confused face and asked them one question, so? Jiraiya just face-faulted at this and said, so? That's all you have to say? Kushina seeing this decided to intervene and said softly, this means that you have a family, Naruto-kun. You no longer have to be alone, and we'll your family. Naruto was very angry and it was becoming impossible for him to not show it. I only had one family and they are no more. Where was the Yondaime when my mother was pregnant? Where was he when I was born? No, I have no family left. I am Uchiha Naruto. There is no Namikaze in it. Saying this, Naruto got up and turned to leave, only to stopped by a hand on his shoulder. Is this your final decision, Naruto? Asked Kakashi with a serious voice. Seeing Naruto's nod, Kakashi let him go. Hey, wait, you bastard, called out Memna. Naruto stopped and giving a deep sigh he turned around only to be punched on his face by him. Naruto took a moment to recollect himself and then he looked at Memna with murder in his eyes and moved so fast that even Jiraiya lost him, and sent Memna flying back with a kick to his gut. Never ever touch me. With these words, Naruto gave the family one last hate-filled look and left the house. A few moments later, well, that went great, said Jiraiya while Tsunade and Kushina just sweat dropped. It appears he knew the truth beforehand, said Kakashi, to which Jiraiya nodded. Yeah, it looks like the brat knew, Very. Well, Jiraiya, come to my office tomorrow, we have much to talk about. A few days later, enter, came the voice of the Yondaime Hokage. Naruto entered the room with an impassive face and looked around to find Sakura and Shizune in the office. What do you want, Naruto? As you know that since you promoted me to jounin, I'm eligible to take the Uchiha seat in the council, and I want what is mine. Before Tsunade could respond, Sakura, the ever fangirl of Sasuke, spoke. That seat belongs to Sasuke-kun, not you. Hearing this, Naruto just scoffed and said, you have probably forgotten, but Sasuke is not a Konoha shinobi. He's a traitor, and I'll be damned if a traitor is allowed a seat on council. Sakura was about to defend her precious Sasuke-kun when Tsunade silenced her and looked towards Naruto. Are you sure? Naruto just nodded and Tsunade said, very well, you may come the council meeting in 2 hours. I trust you know the way. Naruto just nodded and left. The council room. The council room was a circular chamber with a raised platform. Fourth Hokage and the clan heads sat in a circle around the Hokage. The elders sat in front of the Hokage with the civilian council. When Hokage entered with Naruto in the tow, everybody stood up. After everyone had settled down, Naruto went on and sat down on the Uchiha seat with his Sharingan activated. That's when the elder Koharu started shouting, how dare you sit on the seat, boy? You have no seat on the council. Naruto's Sharingan started spinning wildly and his ki flared, and then he spoke in a low whisper. Are you saying that the Uchiha clan no longer has a seat on the council? The very founding clan of Konoha doesn't have a seat on council? The Ki focused on Koharu was enough to make the point clear. Fuck with me, you die. Regardless, I don't require anyone's permission to take any seat on the council, advisor. I am a jounin, and as such I possess the right to sit in the council. Many clan heads, especially Tsum and Tsunade, were very amused seeing Naruto put the elders in their place. What I don't understand is why you are here on the council. The third Hokage made you his advisors and he is long dead, so you should also have been fired. Both Koharu and Homura started sputtering at this while Danzu just narrowed his eyes. He has grown dangerous, he thought. Despite how amusing this all seemed, Tsunade had to put an end to this. Enough, and silence filled the room. The rest of the meeting passed with Naruto belittling the elders at every stage and insulting them, reminding them that they were just relics of the past and had no real power. After the meeting passed, Naruto called Zetsu and ordered him to spy on Danzu. Yujito at the moment was cursing her luck. She had tried everything she could, but she could not defeat the Akatsuki members that attacked her, but fortunately help came in the form of Team Samui. You look uncool, Yujito, came the voice of Samui. While both Karui and Imwa took out their swords and got ready to fight. Yujito just sighed in relief. Hokage Sophist Team 10 and Team 7, bar their senseis, stood in front of Tsunade waiting for her to speak. There have been some disturbances on our border with Lightning Country and I want you to check it out. Asuma will be in charge, all of you except Asuma dismissed. Tsunade then handed Asuma a vial of blood. This is Jireo's blood. I trust you know the signs for summoning jutsu. Upon seeing Asuma nod, Tsunade continued, I have a bad feeling about this mission, so if you encounter any trouble inform me. The fight Team Samui proved inadequate at defeating Haiden and Kakuzu, and now they lay helpless in the Akatsuki's mercy. The Konoha shinobi chose that time to appear. These pests keep appearing, Kakuzu, barked Haiden while Kakuzu just smirked and said, you idiot, don't you see that's the Kyuubi Jinchuriki? We can easily capture him too with Nibi here. Asuma quickly performed the hand seals for the summoning technique, and by using Jireo's blood he summoned Ato Ad. Tell Tsunade-sama we face Akatsuki here. The Cloud Ninja and Leaf Ninja formed a temporary alliance and agreed to take care of Akatsuki together. The following battle was won by Akatsuki and Asuma died while saving Shikamaru. This caused Memna to lose control and go into the six-tailed state, in which he was easily defeated by the combined effort of the zombie duo, but Kakuzu did lose 3 of his hearts. Hokage Sophis, when Tsunade got the message, she immediately called for Naruto and proceeded to give him the mission of eliminating the Akatsuki ninja. Back to the fighting, Samui knew that she could do nothing to help her sister in all but blood. Yujito, but she had to try. She got up even when her muscles were screaming to stay down and picked her sword. Haiden was amused at seeing this and took his scythe. This one's pretty and strong. He'll sacrifice her to Yasin-sama, but Kakuzu was sick of it. Alan just told Haiden to finish the job so they could leave before any other interruptions. Sorry girl, but Kakuzu is getting impatient. Saying this, Haiden raised his scythe and stroked. Samui closed her eyes knowing her death would be imminent. Then a sound of claying was heard, and lo and behold there stood Naruto with his Chokyuta blocking Haiden's scythe with his EMS activated. Naruto looked at Haiden and dismissed him as a threat. According to Zetsu, he just had his immortality, nothing else. The real danger was Kakuzu of the waterfall. The man was alive since the reign of Hashirama Senju. His experience was the most dangerous thing. Naruto kicked Haiden's sheath in the air and charged lightning chakra in his blade, and with 4 swipes he cut Haiden in 4 pieces. Then he looked at Haiden Amaterasu, illuminating heavens, and Haiden body was set aflame by the black flames of Amaterasu, leaving behind nothing but ashes. Regenerate from that, scoffed Naruto. Kakuzu did not let himself panic. He knew that even Haiden could not regenerate from nothing. Uchiha Naruto, you have quite a bounty, he said. Kakuzu off waterfall, you also have quite a bounty on your head. Why don't we skip the pleasantries and skip to the main dance? Agreed, nodded Kakuzu and got ready to fight. The onlookers were extremely surprised at how easily Naruto dealt with Haiden, the very ninja who got up from their very attack. Who is guy? He comes here and kills that freak so easily, and what the hell does he means by a dance? Screamed Yujito. Didn't you hear? He's Uchiha Naruto, an S-rank shinobi of Konoha, said Samui. Back to the fight. 2 masked creatures made of thread emerged from Kakuzu's back, and both of them had kanjis on their heads. One had water while the other had lightning. Both masks made hand seals and launched their respective jutsus: Suten, Mizurapa, water style, water trumpet, Raiten, Hibashi, lightning style electromagnetic murder, and an electrified water wave made its way towards Naruto, who just bit his thumb and swiped it on a seal on his glove, and in a poof of smoke a gunbei appeared in his hands. Naruto brought it in front him and yelled, "Gunbei!" Reflection, and a blackish dome formed in front of Naruto which reflected Thuave back towards Kakuzu, who just jumped aside. Naruto made a hand seal and spoke, "Katon, Kuryuden, fire style, fire dragon missile, A fire dragon made its towards Kakuzu and Thuader mask made more hand seals, Suten, Sujinki, water style, water wall. The wall proved efficient in blocking the fire dragon, but the water mask was unable to the dodge lightning dragon which made out its way from the mist and pierced it. TCH, I have already lost 3 hearts to these brats and now he has destroyed me second last heart. I must retreat or my death is imminent, thought Kakuzu, and after retracting his lightning mask, he made some hand seals Righten, Gain, Lightning Release, Dark Spear, and a black spear made of lightning made its way towards Naruto, who was able to block it with his gunbei. You cannot run anywhere Kakuzu, ya will die here. Realizing the truth, Kakuzu just heaved a sigh, launched into a taijutsu battle with Naruto. Both adversaries were unable to gain any advantage. Naruto jumped back and spoke in a calm voice, "You are dead Kakuzu," and he was impaled by a sword made out of black fire held by a black ethereal hand which emerged from the ground below Kakuzu. Anten, Susanoo Kagutsuke, Inferno style, Susanoo flame control. You proved to be entertaining, but alas, you are nothing before the power of an Uchiha. Saying this, Naruto turned towards the team from Kumo. You should take your Jinchuriki back. I'd imagine your Raikage would be going mad. Samui nodded. That is fine, but both my team and Yujito are in no condition to move and I myself can no longer walk. Naruto just let out a sigh and turned towards Sakura. You all go back to the leaf and report to the Hokage. He'll handle the Cloud Ninja. Seeing the seriousness on Naruto's face, Sakura nodded and helped Memnito his feet that had regained his consciousness during Naruto's fight with Kakuzu and was glaring at Naruto. After the Konoha teams left, Naruto turned towards Samui, "Let's get you home," and made 3 clones that picked up the rest of the shinobi, while the real Naruto picked up Samui, who got a blush on her face but quickly pushed it back. "How much far is Kumo from here?" asked Naruto. "Roughly 5 miles from here." Hearing her reply, Naruto ran towards the direction of Kumogakure. Gates of Kumogakure. The shinobi on guard looked at the horizon and they saw a raven-haired shinobi and his clones carrying Team Samui and Yujito with them. "Go inform Raikage-sama," said one guard. When Naruto finally reached the gates, he found himself in the presence of Raikage, who was a black man with blonde hair slicked back in a bulky figure wearing a white cage robe which was open at front, showing his bare chest, and his guards with him. Naruto put down Samui and helped her stand and looked towards the Raikage. "Raikage-sama," she said while bowing low. A look towards the injured Team Samui and Yujito and motioned his shinobi to take them to hospital while he motioned Naruto and Samui to follow him. Raikage office, report Samui, said A, and report Samui did. From how she and her team arrived to save Yujito from Akatsuki, and then the interference of the Konoha shinobi and their own Jinchuriki, and then finally when hope was all but lost, Naruto came and killed of the both Akatsuki members. I listened all of the details with rapt attention, and then he turned towards Naruto, who just sat there with a bored look on his face. "And what were you doing there?" Naruto just turned towards him with a bored look and said, "Kage's orders. You don't strike me as a man who follows anyone Uchiha," said it, to which Naruto just shrugged. "You can go. Samui will show you around the village." Naruto just got up and left the office. I turned to Samui, "Watch him." With these instructions, I dismissed Samui. Samui left the office and focused on finding Naruto. She followed his chakra signature and found him on the beach leaning on a rock with his gunbei in his hands and a faraway look in his eyes. "What would you think of me now, grandfather?" Naruto thought while looking at his gunbei, and then he looked back and found himself looking in blue eyes of Samui. "That weapon has some emotional value to you?" Naruto looked at the gunbei and smirked, remembering how his grandfather used to whack his head when he did something stupid. "Yes, it used to belong someone precious to me," he said, and then he threw it towards Samui, who caught it using both hands and looked at it with interest and took a few swings. "It's great, but still I prefer using swords. Yes, today's generation wants something sharp and cool looking, but I prefer the things that get the job done. The gunbei provides me both offense and defense, as you saw earlier." Naruto and Samui were surprised that they were talking like normal persons because they were always the most emotionless of their group. "I want to thank you for saving me earlier. That was really cool," she said, to which Naruto just smirked and replied, "You are interesting, Samui-san." With these words, Naruto got up and put the gunbei back into the seal. "If you don't mind, can you show me the hotel I'm supposed to stay in?" And they both left. Samui escorted Naruto to his room and he opened the door to go in when Samui called him. Asked Naruto, "I just wanted to say thanks again and good night." Naruto just nodded and said, "Good night Samui-san." With these words Naruto turned back into the room and with one last look on her closed the door. Inside the room Naruto was still thinking about what happened when Zetsu emerged from the ground. "Ah, will you look at this, Naruto is in love," said White Zetsu. Naruto snapped at Zetsu, "What do you want, Zetsu?" "Orochimaru is dead, Naruto-sama, killed by Sasuke. He has formed a team and is after Itachi. So little Sasuke has killed the snake. No matter, nobody kills Nii-san but me." The next day, "You are leaving." It was not a question but a statement. Naruto turned back towards Samui with an emotionless look. "Yes, I'm Closeto, achieving one of my goals. I have to leave." Then Naruto disappeared in a black mist. The Hokage's office Team 7 was present in the office and was waiting for someone. A few minutes later Naruto appeared in a black mist and looked at Tsunade with an impassive face. "Mission completed," he said in an emotionless tone. "So I've heard," Tsunade spoke. "I have a new mission for you all. We have news from Jiraiya that Sasuke has killed Orochimaru and is currently searching for Itachi with a team." She looked at Naruto and then continued, "I'm making you the team leader of this mission and your job is to apprehend Itachi or possibly kill him and detain Sasuke." Naruto allowed a small smile on his face and turned towards his team. "We move out in 10 minutes. Get your things." Konoha Gates. Naruto looked at his team. "Remember, he'll face Itachi alone. No Oni interferes." He spoke these words with such force that no room for any kind of argument was left. They moved to the location Itachi was last seen according to Jiraiya. Kakashi sensed someone coming very fast to their location and suddenly a strange man with blue skin and giss in his face wearing an Akatsuki cloak jumped in front them with a huge grin on his face. With him was the rest of Team Takajugo, Suijutsu, and Karen. He then took out a huge bandaged sword from his strap and pointed it towards Naruto. "Itachi-san waits for you ahead. Sasuke Uchiha is already there. The rest of you will wait here," he said. Naruto just nodded and turned towards Kakashi. "I'll face the traitors alone and you will wait here with Kisame." Kakashi knew that arguing with Naruto was pointless, but Memna was not content with this and showed it by arguing that he would go with Naruto too and bring Sasuke back to the village. Sakura also nodded with enthusiasm and supported Memna. They were all silenced when Naruto glared at Memna with his Sharingan activated. "You will do ACI say Genin or else." Naruto left the threat hanging and Memna could do nothing but gulp and nod to his half-brother. Seeing no further whining, Naruto left to face Itachi and Sasuke. Finally, the name of Uchiha shall be rid of any traitorous blood. With these thoughts in mind, Naruto made his way to the Uchiha hideout. The Uchiha hideout. Few minutes earlier, Sasuke looked around the hideout to find Itachi and finally get the answers for which he left the village and killed Orochimaru. He found Itachi sitting on a ledge overlooking the forest surrounding the hideout. "Nii-san, I have found you." Itachi just smirked and said, "Foolish little brother, I allowed you to find me. I want answers, Nii-san, and I'll beat them out of you if I have to." "Patience, little brother, we still have a person who has to join us," said Itachi. "I do remember how I had to save you from being killed by his blade." Sasuke just scoffed. "It won't happen again. I'll defeat him now." Now Naruto arrived at the Uchiha hideout and found Sasuke and Itachi standing in the training ground. "The traitor's last hand, Nii-san," said Naruto. Itachi just smirked and said, "Only if you defeat Yasutoto." Naruto regained his expressionless face and said, "For the good of Konoha and the Uchiha clan, I'll kill both of you here and cleanse the name of Uchiha which you both have sullied." Sasuke responded with a fireball in Naruto's direction, who just scoffed at the pathetic fireball and appeared behind Sasuke and sent him flying away. Itachi suddenly appeared behind Naruto with a kunai aimed for his neck, which Naruto blocked with his Chokyuto. Suddenly lightning sparks emerged from the Chokyuto and cut through Itachi's kunai and went to stab Itachi, who just disappeared in the murder of crows. Naruto turned towards Sasuke's direction and made a hand sign Raiden, Gain, Lightning Style, Dark Spear, and a spearmid of black lightning emerged from his mouth which shot up towards Sasuke, who just activated his cursed seal level 2 and flew back to avoid it. "You still use others' power, not yours. You are weak on nothing," scoffed Naruto. Itachi jumped in front of Naruto and whispered, "Tsukuyomi, Moon Reader." Naruto found himself attached to a cross with a blood-red world around him. "Welcome to me, world of Tsukuyomi. I control time and space here and I'm Thekami. For the next 72 hours you will face your worst fears," said Itachi. Naruto just smirked. "You seem to forget that I possess a Mangekyou Sharingan too." Saying these words, Naruto's eyes turned into EMS and the world of Tsukuyomi shattered like a glass. Outside, Itachi fell down to his knees clutching his right eye, which seemed to be eating heavily. Naruto let out a laugh. What happened, Nii-san? Are you in pain? Don't worry, I'll put you out of your misery. Saying this, Naruto held out his hand and it was encased in lightning. Chidori, 10,000 birds chirping, and ran towards a downed Itachi to kill him. Just before the Chidori could connect with Itachi, Sasuke appeared in front of Naruto with his cursed seal activated and put it in front of the Chidori. Te Chidori was able to pierce straight through the wing, which caused Sasuke to let out a pain scream. Sasuke knew he was running low on chakra and this would be his final attack, but he hoped he could defeat Naruto with it. He made a hand sign and a clone appeared. Naruto was intrigued seeing Sasuke and his clone make some hand seals: Katon, Goryaku no Jutsu, Fire Style, Great Fire Dragon Jutsu, Futon, Diatapa, Wind Style, Great Breakthrough. A huge fire dragon powered by its midight's way towards Naruto, who stood there with an impassive face. When the dragon connected, a huge explosion occurred. Sasuke just smirked at this, believing that Naruto was without any doubt dead, but that smirk faded into a look of disbelief when Naruto stood there just fine with no scratch on him and his cape flying around him wildly. Only Itachi knew what had occurred because he would have done that same thing in that situation. Sasuke knew he could do nothing and he tried to crawl back, but after a few seconds his back found a wall. Don't come closer, he begged Naruto. Naruto advanced towards slowly Sasuke like a hawk who had cornered a snake. Remember this, traitor, a hawk will always triumph over a snake. Itachi moved towards Sasuke to save him, but before he or Naruto could do anything, Sasuke let out a blood-curdling scream and clawed at his cursed seal. A white substance began to emerge from his shoulder, which took the shape of a huge 8-headed serpent. Itachi cursed and soon a red ethereal structure began to surround him, which took shape of an armored warrior with a sword and shield in his hands. Itachi used his Susanoo, he with the ability to help by all means, to cut the heads of the snake only for them to regrow. Then something strange happened. The mouth of the snake in the middle opened and a naked Orochimaru crawled out of its mouth with a creepy grin on his face. I must thank you, Naruto-kun and Itachi-kun. You brought Sasuke-kun's chakra level to so low that he could no longer hold me back. Now I'll take over his body and become immortal. Itachi responded to this by driving his sword straight through Orochimaru's gut, who just laughed more. You think this will kill me? Then he felt it like he was being pulled into something. He then realized the weapon in Itachi's hand was the very sword he had searched for decades, the sword of Totsuka. How do you have this sword? No. I cannot die like this. I am Orochimaru the Immortal. I'm destined to discover the secrets of this world, screamed Orochimaru, but he along with his 8-headed snake was pulled in the sword, to be sealed for all the eternity. Naruto's trained eye found a small white snake making its way out of hideout. Not this time, you snake, he thought, and focused his left eye on the snake. Amaterasu, illuminating heavens, and the snake was covered in black flames which turned it into a pile of ash. Itachi could no longer hold his Susanoo without dying, and he still had to tell his brother the truth of that night. He fell down to his knees coughing blood. Naruto looked towards Sasuke and found him unconscious and slumped against the wall. He then turned towards Itachi and tears started to fall from his eyes, and he just asked Itachi in question, why Nii-san, why did you do it? Why did you kill mother, father, and our whole clan? Why? Itachi leaned on a rock nearby and looked towards his brother with pride visible in his eyes. For Konoha Gaku no Sato, for peace, for the shinobi world. Naruto was confused at this. What do you mean? Itachi then told Naruto that the Uchihas were attempting a coup d'etat and they would have enrolled the whole shinobi world in another war, so he and Shisui began to act as double agents for the Hokage. The Hokage wanted to have a peaceful solution to all this matter, whereas Danzo wanted to eliminate the whole clan. Itachi told him of how Shisui died and entrusted his remaining eye him, and how he bargained with Danzo to spare Naruto and Sasuke, and then of his last mission as an Akatsuki member. Naruto was shocked, his very soul was shattered by the truth revealed by Itachi. He then looked at his brother who he hated so much for his whole life and wanted nothing more than to kill him. Then Itachi began to cough blood violently and looked at his brother with love visible in his eyes. No elder brother could be more proud of his younger brother. Ototo, I leave my will, mine and Chisui's eye to you. Protect Konoha with your life, Ototo. Saying these words, Itachi took out a scroll from his pouch and handed it to Naruto, who was still shocked. This is the crow summoning contract. Don't you dare say such things, Nii-san. I will save you, and we can go to Konoha, and that Senju woman will save you, Naruto stammered. Itachi just smiled at his brother and said his last words, goodbye Ototo and protect Konoha. With these words, Itachi reacted for his eye sockets and pulled out his both eyes and sealed them into a container with fluids he unsealed earlier and gave them to Naruto. And so died Uchiha Itachi, ex-umbu of Konoha Gakuran in S-class ninja with a content smile on his face. Naruto just stood there with a scroll and Itachi's eyes in his hands and a look on his face that just screamed pain. Naruto looked down at his brother Seize and then he felt unimaginable pain in his own eyes. The pain went away as quickly as it came. Naruto then heard a voice behind him, "So you possess the Rinnegan, Samsara Eye. How very interesting." Naruto turned back to the voice and he saw a man with short spiky black hair wearing an Akatsuki cloak and an orange spiral mask with a single eye hole which showed a Mangekyou Sharingan on Sasuke on his shoulders. Then the man spoke again, "You now know the truth behind the Uchiha massacre and how corrupted Konoha is. I told the Uchiha that this would happen but they never listened. Oh, where are my manners? Allow me to introduce myself. I am Uchiha Madara." Naruto was seriously in no mood to play Obito's childish games and so he held out his hand and whispered, "Shinra Tensei, almighty push," and Obito, who clearly was not expecting such a response or Naruto's knowledge of the Rinnegan and flying back. When he got up his cloak was ruined and his mask was broken from above. "I follow no one. My Nii-san gave his life for Konoha and I shall do the same. Beware the power of an Uchiha," said Naruto. Obito picked up Sasuke and looked at Naruto. "You will regret this, boy. As for the power of Uchiha, I will show you the power of Madara Uchiha." With these words Obito kamued away leaving an amused Naruto. "The fool doesn't even know that you are the grandson of Uchiha Madara," said a recently revealed Black Zetsu. Yes. Obito has gotten quite comfortable playing Madara that actually believes himself to be Madara. Agreed, said Zetsu. Then Naruto turned towards Zetsu and he got a view of Naruto's Rinnegan. His Rinnegan was quite different than the sage's as it had 6 tomoes in each eye. "Tell me, Zetsu, did Madara knew the truth of the Uchiha massacre?" asked Naruto in a whisper. Zetsu was quite surprised to hear Naruto call his grandfather Madara, but nonetheless he answered in a careful tone, "Yes, your grandfather knew the truth, but he did not want to tell you because he respected Itachi's sacrifice and he also wanted you to make your own decisions." Naruto calmed down and his eyes reverted to their original black color. He understood why his grandfather hid the truth from Naruto. He was too much unstable at that time and he would have lost himself to hatred. "Very well, Zetsu. I have to go back to Konoha and get permission from Senju to leave the village for some time to train me Rinnegan. Stay in the shadows." With these orders Zetsu sank back into the ground. Exhaustion finally caught Naruto and he slumped next to his brother's body and sealed it into a scroll. A few moments later Team 7 arrived and found Naruto with his back to a rock holding a scroll to his chest. You managed to kill Itachi?" asked Kakashi. "Yes, Nii-san is dead and Akatsuki has Sasuke." Akatsuki lair, "It's been a long time since we have gathered like this and now only so few of us remain," said Kisame. "Yes, but we also have acquired 5 Baijos, an unfortunate price to pay but satisfactory nonetheless," said Pain. "What about the Konohas and Kumo's Jinchuriki kiss?" asked Deidara. "I shall take care of them when the time is right." Dismissed, exclaimed Pain, and both Deidara and Kisame disappeared, leaving behind Pain, Konan, and Tobi. "You shall head to Konoha when the time is right and don't worry about Kumo. I have plans for them, and beware Uchiha Naruto, he may prove to be a challenge to you," said Obito. Pain just scoffed. "None can match the power of a god. This Uchiha Naruto shall know pain. Nagato, you fool. Pray that Naruto doesn't go all out on you or else your death shall be certain," though Obito and swirled away. "Soon the world shall know pain," said Pain creepily. "You say you want 3 months to train your eyes and you also possess my grandfather's Mokuton?" asked a flaster-bagged Tsunade. Naruto rolled his eyes and said, "Yes, that is what I said, Senju," and just to prove his point he created a wooden chair. "How did you not wonder why only Hashirama was able to use Mokuton among all the Senju when no one was able to?" asked Naruto. Tsunade had to admit that she often found herself asking this question, and why of all the Senjus only her grandfather had the Mokuton, why was only he able to do it? She asked Naruto. "Only the Uchiha and Senju possess the ability to split the chakra into yin and yang. The secret to Mokuton is channeling yang chakra with Suton and Doton," said Naruto, and then he continued, "You yourself use yin chakra for your Sozo Saisei, creation rebirth technique." Tsunade was gobsmacked at Naruto's discovery. She had to say that Naruto rightfully deserved the title of genius and he was also the only Uchiha she got along with, so she gave him permission. Later the day when Naruto had left, news reached Konoha that Jiraiya of Sunin had perished at the hands of Akatsuki's leader. Memno was very sad. First his father died and now his sensei and godfather died. He was then taken away by Fukazaku, who wanted to teach Memna the sage arts, something that Jiraiya could never master. Tsunade was heartbroken. Her beloved teammate was dead and all she did was ridiculing him. Kushina and Sakura had to stop Tsunade from drinking to her death and remind her that she was Tsunade Senjo, the Godame Hokage of Konohagaku no Sato. 3 months later, Naruto was satisfied with his progress with the Rinnegan. He could perform each of its jutsus perfectly, as Madara had told him of everything he knew about the Rinnegan. Madara's mastery of Rinnegan exceeded that of Nagato's. Naruto particularly loved using Limbo, Hengoku, Limbo, Border Jail. The jutsu allowed him to create shadows of himself that could be used to attack the enemy but had a range and only another Rinnegan user could see them. Naruto had also dabbled in the yin-yang release, and by using the famous jutsu of the Rikoda Senin, Banbutsu Sozo, creation of all things, he created for himself a beautiful Chokyuto which had all the properties of Kusanagi with a silver blade and black hilt with no guard. His control over Mokuton had gotten very good since the awakening of the Rinnegan. He was now ready for the world to throw anything at him. He would become Hokage and protect his brother's legacy. Naruto was still in thoughts when Zetsu emerged from the ground and told Naruto that Pain was attacking Konoha and Zetsu had to keep appearance with Obito so not to arouse any suspicion. Naruto just stood there with fury visible in his Sharingan eyes. That upstart fool, he'll show him the result of messing with an Uchiha. With these thoughts, Naruto used the reverse summoning technique to summon himself back to the crow in Konoha. Meanwhile in Konoha the Deva path floated above in the air and held his hands out. The world shall know pain, Shinra Tensei, almighty push, and only a crater was left of the great village that was Konoha. When all the paths landed back in the crater, they were confronted by a chakraless Tsunade who appeared furious beyond any measure. This was the scene Naruto found himself on. Rage overtook him and his Sharingan evolved to EMS. He calmed down and looked towards Tsunade who was running on fumes. You did well, Senjo, but now it is time for an Uchiha to protect this village. Go. When Tsunade left, Naruto turned his attention to the 6 paths. Suddenly without any warning, Naruto moved at high speeds and crushed the Naraka path. He then turned towards the Azura path. Amaterasu and a jet of black flames made its way towards it, but before they could make contact the flames were absorbed by the Preta path. But the Preta path was unable to dodge the Amaterasu's word held by a black ethereal arm and it impaled it, and in a matter of seconds the Preta path was nothing but ashes. 2 down, said Naruto, and then he turned his attention to the remaining paths. The animal path came forward and slammed its hands on ground. Kuki-Yos no Jutsu, summoning technique, and a 3-headed dog, a giant vulture and a giant chameleon emerged from the smoke. A black ribcage started to surround Naruto, which solidified to an imperfect Susanoo with a long sword made of Amaterasu held in his hands. Naruto swiped the swords and after a few seconds the summons dispelled, unable to take hits from the Susanoo. Naruto let his Susanoo fade and took out his Chokyuto and channeled lightning chakra in it. He appeared in front the animal path intent on beheading him when he was blocked by Azura path who had a black rod in his hands. The Azura path pushed Naruto back, who got in the range of Deva path who held out his hand and spoke, Shinra Tensei, almighty push, and Naruto was sent flying in the air. The human path and animal path appeared above Naruto to hit him, but Naruto manifested Susanoo midair and impaled them both with the Susanoo's swords. Naruto gracefully landed on the ground and looked at the remaining 2 paths. Nagato knew that the Deva path still had to recharge from the previous pushes, and thus she sent Azura path to engage Naruto in Taijutsu. No matter what Asura did, Naruto was able to predict his attacks with the Sharingan and counter it easily. Azura path then fired of rockets on Naruto, who took out his Gunbei reflection, and easily stopped them. The path then fired of its hand, which Naruto burned using Amaterasu. The Naruto appeared in front of the Azura path in a butoff speed with black lightning covering his arm Reikari, lightning blade, and cleaved the path in 2 from the middle and burned the remains with Amaterasu. Now only you remain, and after I am done with you I'm coming for your original and the bitch you have with you, whispered Naruto, pointing his sword at the Deva path. Naruto's taunt only served to enrage Nagato, who used the Deva path to appear in front of Naruto using the gravity manipulation and stabbed him with a black rod, but Naruto exploded with a boom. How do you like that? It was my brother's jutsu Bunshin Debakuka, great clone explosion. The Deva path raised both his hands to blast away the blasphemer when something strange happened. Naruto's eyes turned into the Rinnegan and they both yelled at same time, Shinra Tensei, almighty push. Despite Nagato's experience, the Rinnegan he had was not his, whereas Naruto had his own Rinnegan. As a result, the Deva path was sent flying, and before it could touch the ground, Naruto caught it with its collar. "This is the body of your friend Yahiko. Now you shall know true pain." With these words, Naruto formed a hand seal and spoke, "Mokyuton." Binding stakes, wooden stakes formed around the Deva path and kept crushing it until it got completely destroyed. Naruto then burned Yahiko's body with a fire jutsu so it could not be reclaimed. Naruto started making his way towards their Nagato to finish this ordeal once and for all. With Nagato, "It's over, Konan. My paths are destroyed and he too wields the Rinnegan. The time for our death draws near," said Nagato. Konan had a resigned look on her face. She knew that her death was imminent and perhaps she, Nagato, Yahiko and Jiraiya-sensei would meet in afterlife. Her paper tree in which they were both residing in was torn open by a hand encased in black lightning. The hand belonged to Naruto, who stepped into the room with an impassive look on his face. "Uzumaki Nagato, you dare try to bring judgment to this world by showing it pain when you are no better. You talk of peace yet you bring nothing but violence. You talk as if you are above everything and all other humans are mere flecks of dirt beneath your fingernails. And now the time for your judgment has arrived." Nagato sneered and asked him, "Then what is your damn answer to peace then?" Naruto looked amused. "Peace? Do not act like you are ignorant to the reality of the humans. We talk of peace yet we crave violence. It is our nature and you cannot change it. Do you not get it? The humans do not want peace. Peace not an idea and it is not universal. You are at peace when you are with your loved ones, when you share your life with them, when you achieve the dreams of your beloveds. As long as there are winners and losers in this world, there will always be hatred. Love breeds hatred and hatred breeds war. It is a vicious cycle of pain and hate. But the small moments in your life spent with the ones you love, they provide us happy. This world is corrupted but there is good in it too. You talk about pain. Who knows pain better than me? I lost my family, watched my mother killed by the blade of my brother only to later know that my brother was just preserving the peace. You ask for my answer to peace. Well, here's my answer: love and the power to protect it." Nagato had tears in his eyes when he heard this all and then hello okayed towards Naruto with a small smile. "Very well, Uchiha Naruto, I'll believe in you." Naruto's eyes went wide with surprise. "You believe in me, even when I destroyed the body of your friend, even when I hunger for your blood?" Konan was also surprised by Nagato's claim, but then she gave a small smile. She could see why he chose to believe once more. Naruto was perhaps the true reincarnation of Sage, or perhaps something greater. "Yes, even then, somebody has to break this cycle of hatred. I apologize for the destruction I caused, but perhaps I can still salvage the situation." Saying these words, Nagato made a hand sign which both Naruto and Konan recognized. "You will die if you use this jutsu, Nagato," said Konan worriedly. "Ikno, Gido, Rine Tensai, Outer Path, Samsara Reincarnation." Nagato's last jutsu revived everyone he had killed and he died with a small content smile on his face. "Take his body back to Mangekyou and give him a worthy burial that he deserves. I am sorry for the pain I've caused you." Likewise, Uchiha Naruto and Konan made a banquet of flowers using her bloodline and gave it to Naruto, who accepted it with a small smile. When Konan left with Nagato's body, Naruto looked towards the sky and smiled. "I did it, Naizen," he thought. "You did not take his Rinnegan," said Zetsuho, who had been observing the fight since beginning. "I had no need of it and Nagato deserves to be buried with those eyes." Hearing his answer, Zetsu sank back in the ground and Naruto made his way back towards the village. He was feeling very exhausted and he wanted to rest. He was about to fall forward when he landed on Kakashi's back. "You did it, Naruto." "HN, you had any doubts, sensei?" asked Naruto, to which Kakashi just chuckled. When he reached the village gates, there was a huge crowd there cheering for him. "Uchiha-sama saved us, we believed in you, Naruto-sama. Naruto-sama saved us all." Naruto just smirked and flashed villagers a look which caused many women to blush. The whole day was spent cheering and celebrating. Even Memna, who appeared sullen over the fact that he was not able to save the day, appeared happy. Kushina, who had died while confronting Human Path, also appeared happy because she was reunited with her son and did not leave him alone. Despite all the good news, there was some bad news too. Tsunade had overexerted herself and was now in a coma. The Fire Daimyo was to arrive tomorrow to discuss the current situation of the Leaf. The council chambers. The day after tomorrow, all the clan head were seated along with elders, and Fire Daimyo, who was an old man with a few wrinkles but otherwise appeared healthy and full of life. "How goes the reconstruction of Leaf Shikakuzen?" asked the daimyo. It is going very neatly, Daimyo-sama. Nearly all the construction has been finished, and with Naruto-sama using Mokuton the process was much faster, Shikaku replied. Yes, the Mokuton, which brings us to the question, how does an Uchiha possess the bloodline of Hashirama-sama, asked Koharu. All eyes were suddenly on Naruto, who sat there with his EMS activated leaning on his hands. How do I possess the Mokuton? I can't perform Mokuton because I have the Rinnegan. With these words Naruto activated his Rinnegan for the entire world to see. All the clan heads and elders, even Danzo, let out a gasp at the sight of the ever-red eyes of the Sage of Six Paths himself. How do you possess those eyes? Asked Danzo Shimura. He had been trying to get his hands on that eye for decades, yet this brat possessed them. He could not let this opportunity go waste. Naruto narrowed his eyes at Danzo and whispered, I awakened them, they are mine. The message was clear to Danzo, mess with the bull you get the horns. Homura then coughed into his hands. Now the issue I resolved, we must move to more pressing matters like choosing a new Hokage. Shikaku advised that there was no need for a new Hokage, they should just wait for Tsunade to wake up. Koharu disagreed, saying that there must be a Hokage. The daimyo intervened, and are there any candidates? Shikaku advised making Kakashi Hatake the Rokudaime Hokage. Yes, Kakashi Hatake, student of the 4th Hokage who was the student of Jiraiya the student of 3rd Hokage who was the student of the 1st and 2nd Hokages. It is perfect. Before Kakashi could be accepted as the Hokage, Danzo intervened, saying that the 3rd teachings had doomed the village, stating that Nagato was the student of Jiraiya. Then he nominated himself for the Hokage Ion as the student of the Nidaime Hokage. The daimyo looked towards Naruto, who had been quiet during the whole meeting, and then he turned towards the room. Are there any more candidates? Noel. Before he could continue, he was cut off by Naruto. I nominate myself for the position of Hokage. This sentence was met with silence, as no one had been expecting that. Then the daimyo spoke. Ho, and why should we select you as Hokage? As you know, Daimyo-sama, I was an S-rank ninja at the age of 14, and by slaughtering the Oto forces I proved that I had the guts to do what mattered, and I have only grown stronger in these past 4 years. I killed 3 members of Akatsuki, and I also killed its leader. I possessed Rinnegan. No one would dare strike the leaf. Besides, if Danzo becomes Hokage, we would be the laughing stock of the whole world. They will say the strongest shinobi village selected a cripple as their Hokage. Before his injuries, Danzo was an A-rank ninja, and now after being out of action for decades and becoming a cripple, he's barely B-rank. Besides, the Uchiha co-founded this village with the Senju, and there have been 3 Senju Hokages and no Uchiha. I believe it's high time an Uchiha becomes Hokage. Danzo gritted his teeth. He knew Naruto raised excellent points, and without Chisui's Sharingan and the Izanagi arm he was nearly useless. The daimyo also was thinking this to be a good idea, but before he could voice his thoughts, impossible, even if you are strong you are still young, screeched Koharu. The daimyo rubbed his ears, and then he said, age is no problem, after all Minato was also young, and if I remember correctly Tsunagaku also selected a 14-year-old boy to their cage, therefore I daimyo of Hai no Kuni name Uchiha Naruto as the Rokudaime Hokage of Konohagaku no Sato. May your reign be long and prosperous. Saying this, the fire daimyo got up and placed the Hokage hat on Naruto's head and proceeded to exit room with his guards. Naruto let a smile come to his face, seeing all his dreams completed, and then he stood up and looked at the clan heads and elders in front him and said, bring me Kakashi Hatake and tell him if he is late I'll personally burn all his smut. We'll continue this meeting in 2 hours, all of you except Danzo. Ariel load to leave, Naruto said. Everyone bar Danzo got up and left. What do you require of me, Hokage-sama? Said Danzo. He knew Naruto was not the one to be trifled with, and he had to be very subtle in his activities now. Kakashi appeared in the room in a poof of smoke reading his book. You called Hokage-sama? Asked Kakashi without looking up. Yes, Kakashi, I called for you, said Naruto. Kakashi looked up, hearing a familiar voice, and dropped his book, seeing Naruto wearing the Hokage hat. Naruto, you are the new Hokage? Asked an astonished Kakashi. He had expected that Danzo would have become Hokage no matter how much Headies liked him, but if Naruto became Hokage. Then Kakashi remembered the day he met his team and asked for their introduction. Naruto replied that he had no dream, and what he had was an ambition, to kill his brother and become Hokage. You will be a great Hokage without any doubt, he thought. Brilliant deduction, Sensei. What gave it away? Drawled Naruto. Oh, the hat told me, Hokage-sama, said an eye-smiling Kakashi. Danzo, Sensei, let yous retire to the Hokage office, we shall talk there. The Hokage office. Naruto took off the Hokage hat and put it on the table and sat in the Hokage chair. He offered seats to both Danzo and Kakashi. Suddenly wooden bindings appeared below Danzo and bound him. What is the meaning of this Hokage-sama? Asked a rather nervous Danzu. He could feel his chakra being drained by the wooden bindings and he could not use his Nagi in such a situation. Kakashi also grew alarmed at this and looked towards Naruto, who had a small smirk on his face. What is going on here, Naruto? Ah, sensei, let me tell you a story. When Tobirama Senju became Hokage, he stripped the Uchiha of all their political power by reducing the clan to a police force. As the time grew on, the Uchiha were backed away in a corner, and finally during the reign of the fourth Hokage they realized that they had been pushed away and had no real power in the village. The village also began to distrust the Uchiha and suspected them to be the real reason behind the Kyuubi attack. And to reclaim the lost power, the Uchiha began to plan a coup d'etat. The Hokage wanted a peaceful solution, but there was a certain elder who wanted the whole clan eliminated. Itachi Uchiha and Shisui Uchiha were acting as double agents for the Hokage. Shisui revealed to the Hokage and the elders that he had the Mangekyou Sharingan, and his eye allowed him to enter the mind of a person and change it according to the caster's will. And this time a certain crippled elder got greedy and decided that the eye would be of better use with him, and so he attacked Uchiha Shisui and took his eye. But Shisui was able to get away with his right eye, which he gave to Uchiha Itachi. This crippled elder then ordered Itachi to eliminate all of the Uchiha clan, but Itachi Uchiha loved his brothers more than Konoha, so in exchange for the life of his brothers, Itachi Uchiha chose to slaughter his own clan and become a missing ninja. All of these occurred due to one man's greediness, because he believed Thathay was the best choice to lead the Hidden Leaf. You understand what must be done, sensei, right? Kakashi, who was too shocked to hear the truth of the Uchiha massacre, but he had to admit it was the best explanation, and besides he had worked with Itachi enough to know he was not a deranged killer. He looked towards Naruto and nodded. Naruto got up from his seat and made his way towards Danzu, who was now struggling against his bindings. He knew without any doubt that Naruto would kill him, but the Mokuton was too strong and his arm and eye were sealed and he could not use his Nagi. I told you not to mess with me, Danzu. You think that you are the best choice ever. The Hokage and look at you. You are nothing but a cripple. I, Uchiha Naruto Rokudame Hokage of Konoha no Sato, find you guilty of treason and as such execute you, but first I will need that eye. Saying this, Naruto pulled away Danzu's bandages and pulled the eye out of the socket, making Danzu scream, and sealed it inside a container with fluids in it. Naruto then took out his Chokyuto and channeled lightning chakra in it, making black lightning arc over it, something which Kakashi noticed and swiped it at Danzu and beheaded him. The head of the cripple fell on the ground, the face etched in a scream of horror. Naruto swiped his blade and put it back in the sheath. You can use black lightning? Asked a fascinated Kakashi. My lightning has been black since the awakening of the Rinnegan. I don't know why, answered Naruto and continued. Anyways, let's go back to the council room. I have more elders to deal with. Umbu, clean this mess, Naruto ordered, and Umbu appeared, who took care of Danzu's body, and both Kakashi and Naruto left the council room. When all of the council was seated, Naruto started. The construction of Konoha has nearly been finished and the fire daimyo has also given us his full support. Now on to more pressing matters. A few years back, Elder Danzu attacked me with his root forces and I killed him for his treason. This statement was met with gasps all around the room, but Koharu was having none of it. She was sure the boy had killed Danzu just to spite the elders. You lie, boy, Danzu would never commit treason. He loves Konoha too much for that. Naruto just pointed to Kakashi. Kakashi Hatake was there with me when it happened, and this is not the first time the cripple had committed treason. According to Kakashi, Danzu tried to assassinate Lord Third just to become Hokage himself. Naruto's statement was met with more gasps throughout the council. Hayashi Hyuga turned to Kakashi. Is this true, Kakashi-san? Kakashi nodded and told them that Lord Third considered Danzu a friend and thus left him with nothing more than a slap on wrist. The elders have been around since a long time and were appointed by Lord Third. He is dead now and I don't see any more use for the elders. Since Danzu has been involved in such heinous acts, I naturally believe that both Koharu and Homura are also somehow involved in his schemes. Therefore I am placing you two under arrest until proven innocent, said Naruto. The elders were most vocal in their displeasure, but the council had agreed and they could do nothing. Before the Akatsuki attack, Hokage-sama had received an invitation to attend the 5-Kage summit. What will you do about it, Hokage-sama? Asked Shikaku. I shall go to the summit and see what matters Gaara has to discuss. If nothing more is required, this meeting is adjourned. I shall leave for summit in 3 days, said Naruto. Naruto told Kakashi to follow him to the Hokage office and they both left. The Hokage office, Kakashi and Naruto were having a glass of sake and discussing plans for the Kage summit when Shizune entered the room. Hokage-sama, a team from Kyumo has arrived in the village and are asking for an audience with you. Kyumo, you say? Very well, send them in, said Naruto. When Team Samui entered the room, they found Naruto Uchiha, the guy who saved them from Akatsuki, sitting in the Hokage seat having a drink and laughing with a silver-haired man. Then Kuro found her voice. They chose you as Hokage. She could not keep this hawk out of her voice. Naruto just turned towards her with an impassive face. Yes, I was chosen as the Hokage. Now what is it that Hokage requires of me, said Naruto. Samui, she straightened herself and said, Hokage-sama, our Hokage has sent us here to get information on Uchiha Sasuke. He infiltrated our village and captured Killer Bee, the Hakusabi Jinchuriki. At the mention of Sasuke, both men straightened up and Naruto turned towards Kakashi with a sigh. Yeah, what we have to write, sensei? Asked Naruto. Kakashi nodded and Naruto called for Shizune. As she entered the room, Naruto turned towards her. Shizune, please change the information on Uchiha Sasuke in our bingo book and declare him an S-rank international criminal with a kill-on-sight order and bring me a copy of his file. Shizune, while a bit surprised at Naruto's order, complied nonetheless and brought the file. Naruto turned towards Team Samui and handed them the file and told them to leave and continue searching for their Jinchuriki, as it took many days for Akatsuki to seal the Baiju's Hokage coronation. The next day, do you know who they chose to be Hokage? Asked Ino. For the last time, no Ino, I don't know. Dad refused to tell me anything, said Shikamaru. Yes, Tio-san refused to tell me too, stuttered Hinata, and both Kiba, pardon the pun, and Akamaru barked in confirmation. Do you know who is the new Hokage, Memna-kun? Said Ino. No, I don't know anything, said Asolan Memna. He was still upset that they did not even consider him for the Hokage. Don't act so grumpy, Memnabeka, you are too young to be Hokage, said Sakura. Before Memna could reply, Kakashi appeared atop the Hokage tower with the Hokage hat in his hand and cleared his throat, which caused Thicrode to silence. As you all know, due to Tsunade-sama's condition, we had to choose a new Hokage. After a lot of careful consideration, the council and Daimyo-sama chose the very person who saved our village from Akatsuki. Without any further ado, let me introduce you Alto, your new Rokudaime Hokage, Uchiha Naruto. Naruto appeared atop the tower with a small smile on his face and bowed a little, and Kakashi placed the Hokage hat on his head. The crowd's cheers were deafening enough that no one could hear Memna's cry of outrage. Naruto raised his hand, which silenced the crow. Konohagaku no Sato, which Uchiha Madara built along with Hashirama Senju, has always been the strongest village. No matter what the odds, Konoha has always emerged victorious. We have always held our head high, and this invasion did not change that. When Konoha was first formed, both Uchiha Madara and Hashirama Senju strengthened this village. Tobirama Senju gave his life for the village in the first war. We had the Sunin and Sakumohei taken these Kond war. Minato Namikaze won us the third war, and even though we stand strong, our strength has not wavered. People like Tsunade Senju, Kakashi Heitake, Kushina Uzumaki still give us hope. Hope that we stand strong. Hope that we still are the strongest. The will of fire still burns bright, and if anyone has any doubts regarding it, we will show him the wrath of fire. This the village which my ancestor built, and I shall not let anyone tread upon it. As long as I breath, I Uchiha Naruto, the Rokudaime Hokage of Konohagaku no Sato, promises the village will never fall, exclaimed Naruto with the Rinnegan blazing. His speech was met with more cheers and hooting. Kakashi just smiled at hearing Naruto honor him and his father. All of the rookies were surprised at Naruto being named the Hokage. Sakura and Memna were outraged at the decision. Naruto made a hand seal and fireworks went above the Hokage monument. Naruto went back to his office and found Kakashi sitting on the couch reading his book. You make a fine speech, Hokage-sama. Naruto just HNED Andre replied. You will be coming with me to the summit as my bodyguards, sensei. This was the scene the rookies walked in upon, and all of them were eager to talk to Naruto, who just turned towards the rookies with annoyance visible in his eyes. Shizune, he called. When she entered, Naruto pointed towards the rookies and asked in an annoyed tone, didn't I tell you that I was busy and no one was to be allowed to enter? Shizune answered, embarrassed. Well, they were insisting, Hokage-sama, and quite forceful. Naruto just sighed and walked towards his seat and sat down. Alright, what in the blue hell you want? Shino coughed in his hands. We were here to congratulate you, Hokage-sama. Naruto looked towards them, annoyance clearly visible in his eyes. That's all he asked. Novura, also wondering how the hell did you become Hokage? That was a me dream, cried Memna. Naruto just scoffed. Well, the council found me more suitable candidate than you. After all, it was I who defeated Pain, while you were having tea with the toads. Memna turned red hearing that, and he was about to protest when Sakura asked the question they were here to ask. Well, since you are the Hokage, what will you do about Sasuke-kun? What about the traitor? He is an international criminal and will be treated as such, said Naruto only for both Sakura and Memna to cry in outrage. What do you mean, traitor? Sasuke-kun is being affected by the cursed seal. Enough. The words were said in such a force that silence filled the room. And, you know that Uchiha Sasuke had killed Orochimaru and his cursed seal has been removed. What he does is of his own free will. You all are expected to kill Uchiha Sasuke when you come across the traitor. Any foolishness regarding this matter will be dealt with severely. Sasuke thinks the leaf below him. Well, he hasn't seen the wrath of fire yet. Now if that is all, you all are dismissed except Niji Hyuga. The rookies left silently, leaving behind Niji alone. What do you require of me, Hokage-sama? He asked. At ease, Jounin. I have heard that you have one of the best Byakugan among the Hyuga. You along with Hatake Kakashi will come along with me to the summit as my bodyguards. Niji nodded. I will not disappoint you, Hokage-sama.